Welcome to the Six Invitational in Montreal. Make some noise. It's been a year in the making. This is what we have all been waiting for. Championship Sunday. 3 teams left, and we started this whole thing with 16 of them. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to the desk. I'm going to be your host, Veli, and for the first game of the day, I'm going to have Dev, Martin, and Imzo. Boys, it's been such a great run so far.
It's been a pleasure to be here, and it's just getting more and more exciting as we progress, as we eliminate more teams, and the stakes become ever higher.
I've been in every invitational, and I can confirm every single one just gets better and better, not just from the production, from the extra things going on, but the teams, they keep getting better. The competition gets hotter.
You didn't have to flex and show off and said you've been to all of them so far, Imzo. Okay, we're getting there, man. We're getting there.
One day I'll play, right?
All right, but it's been a crazy event so far. We had a double elimination bracket for those of you that are tuning in for the first time ever. And let's go ahead and take a look. What are the major storylines that's been happening in the first round?
Well, obviously the top 8 was hotly contested, and we'd already had significant teams eliminated before this point. Teams like Empire, Na'Vi, Team Liquid. And once we got here, we also had teams like G2 that didn't even make the top 6 and play on the main stage. Here we had Fnatic versus BDS. I think that was a match where a lot of people were hoping for something from Fnatic.
You were hoping.
They just didn't show up on the main stage. But credit to BDS, who had a really, really strong run through this bracket.
All right, Imzo, what about Dark Zero against NIP?
I mean, Dark Zero was kind of the third runner there for NA, but it would have been nice to have another backup. Obviously, we still got TSM potentially in the running, and SSG potentially to take it, but obviously though, these teams down that have used that lower bracket have used it just to strengthen themselves at this point. Dark Zero, unfortunately, you know, they made it farther than they had. I see a lot of Dark Zero jerseys out there, so a lot of fans still here representing, but at the same time, they're only going to get better the next LAN. They just take this experience home.
Yes.
And I feel like NIP, who knocked them out, have just been getting progressively stronger and stronger as this tournament goes on.
Yeah, you're right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys happen to miss yesterday at all, we put together a nice little video for you. I love the energy so far, and yesterday was a banger. But let's get into the games that happened. Let's run down the line just a little bit. You know a lot about the NIP versus BDS games. That was Europe's last chance.
It was, and they failed to get it across the line. I think there are a lot of people looking to support BDS, their favorite teams from Europe already being eliminated, teams like G2, Na'Vi, Rogue, who didn't really make it very far at all.
Right.
But that said, credit to NIP, they've just been getting stronger and stronger as the tournament progressed. But it wasn't easy for them. This match was an absolute dogfight.
And Imzo, how big is this for the Brazilian community out there?
I mean, this is huge. Obviously, Platinum's got one win under the belt, which was a Pro League final in Atlantic City. Liquid managed to take that. Outside of that, it's been NA and EU. Now with the EU eliminated, even better chance for Platinum to potentially take this, but they've got to go through 2 NA teams to do it.
And I love how on NIP, every single player stepped up to the occasion. Psycho, Moosey, Kamikaze, they have all been fantastic in their run so far. And the only thing that's stopping them from raising that hammer down there is just a championship game. They're gonna have to win 2 more in order to qualify Space Station. They're waiting in the finals, but the second game, That was a banger. TSM versus Space Station Gaming.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the rematch and possibly the grand finals preview we were hoping for in NA. It showed, though, that TSM found some weaknesses in SSG, but SSG had the stamina to really make it through. You saw them really struggling even through those technical timeouts and tact timeouts, just trying to keep that momentum up. They had it, they did it, and it's down to, again, you got to worry about the choke in the grand final is the thing to worry about. It looked like, at least during that match, that's SSG now. Twice they have taken down TSM. Will they face them again? I don't know. They could be up against NIP, and that we don't know how that will go. We know TSM can show they've beaten NIP, maybe not a second time, but SSG have yet to prove that.
Yeah, and I mean, this match in particular, TSM Space Station, for a spot in the grand final, the stakes couldn't have been higher, and they really showed us some world-class siege, especially this final map, Cafe, going all the way to overtime, especially after TSM started off so strong with their attacks, 4 in a row on this map. I was hugely impressed by them. I was actually disappointed that I didn't get to highlight the plays that I'd broken down on the telethreader for them, but Space Station, for them to come back out of that, stand up there on stage with Canadian, eyes on that hammer, and just feel the energy of the audience, knowing that he's going to play in the grand final later today.
Imzo, you talked about Canadian choking, man. When are you going to let that go?
You know, when he takes that championship again, when he picks up that hammer, it's gone. I'm letting it go.
So what would it mean if Canadian is unable to do it this weekend?
I mean, it will mean more work for him. He gives back to the grind. That's what he keeps doing, is he keeps grinding. He keeps grinding, he keeps grinding. And that's why I'm cheering for the man. Because he keeps working at it. He's like, I'm not giving up yet. You know, calls himself just too old and things like that. No.
He's not that old.
No, but he's still gonna have a hell of a fight here. This is, I mean, we saw a lot of fight back from TSM that I think they weren't necessarily as well prepared for. And if they're up against NIP, that's just a whole different ball game, a very different style they don't get to play up against very often. That's right. That's the real struggle is, yeah, the NA teams, you know how to fight them. TSM plays a little bit more up alongside what NIP does style-wise, but it's not quite the same. It's not quite the preparation SSG might need.
Yeah, and speaking about NIP, TSM, and what to expect, let's throw up the schedule to see what's to happen today. The first game of the day is going to be TSM and their aggro playstyle versus Ninjas and Pyjamas, but they basically invented that. After that, we have the Year 5 panel, and I'm going to be honest to all of you in the audience and the viewers out there, we saw a sneak peek, and you guys aren't ready. You guys aren't. Dev Martin, let them know.
No way. No way you guys are ready for everything that we're going to be showing you today.
It's insane. I'm not even over-exaggerating this. And then after that, of course, Space Station Gaming, the Space Boys, they're going to face off against the winners of the first game of the day. And remember, they start off with a 1 map advantage.
Not to mention, they're going to be obviously the most relaxed because they get to sleep in and relax, whereas this team, you know, whoever wins this has got to go through probably a 3-map slog to get to that point and then have a 1-map disadvantage. So it's going to be down to our SSG going to properly warm up to make sure they're not coming in cool, but at least they've got some slack to work with.
I can tell you for sure there is no way that Space Station was sleeping soundly last night. Knowing that they had the big game today, none of these teams are sleeping. Hell, I wasn't sleeping.
No, not at all. First off, I want to thank Anna for just being an amazing stage show so far. We're going to send this over to the main stage for Anna. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise.
Off with a compliment. Very nice, Belly. Thank you very much. Are you guys ready to watch some Rainbow Six? Me too. And this match is going to be a doozy because these teams are in it for their tournament lives. The winner goes on to the finals and the loser goes home. Are you ready to cheer these teams and tell them that you want some good games? Let's welcome our first team. They are representing the LATAM region. They are coming from Brazil. Any Brazilians in the house? There they are, they're waking up. They fought their way through the loser bracket in the playoffs, and now they're here to face the team that put them there. Let's meet our first team. Please welcome Ninjas in Pyjamas! with Psycho, Kamikaze, Pino, Muzi, Julio, and Bob. Their opponents are representing NA. They're coming from the United States, Canada, and Mexico. They're going to need your help. They're going to need these cheers. They just got knocked down from the winner's bracket. This is their first time having to fight their way back to the finals. They already beat their opponents once. Can they do it again? Let's meet our second team. Please welcome TSM! With Geometrics, Merc, Achieve, Hojo Man, Rolo, and Vago. This is it! This is for the region pride. This is for the final spot. This is for one step closer to hoisting that hammer. Who will it be? Let's find out right now.
I'm Pyjamas. I play support for TSM.
I'm Julio. I'm from Ninjas and Pyjamas, and I'm the support player.
So we played SSG. It was a close series. We didn't really play ourselves on Coastline. Didn't really feel like a regular Coast game. It was kind of strange. But we kind of brought it back on Cafe and then just ultimately fell short.
Like the last game against PDS, it was like for us the most emotional one, like mentally wise. Like we were 6-2 on bank and we almost lost the map. So like we have ups and downs. And it was one of the best matches for us, I think. Mentally wise and skill wise, everything. We like did a lot of good things.
We play NIP. We played them before. I think we kind of handled them pretty good. I don't think they were playing to their full potential, so I expect a little more aggression on their part than what we got last time. I know they're a good team. We're just going to play. I think we play their style a bit better than we would against SSG. So I think we can play that really fast, frag-heavy style and ultimately come out on top.
Like TSM is a pretty good team. They have gunners too, like people who can just end rounds just by killing people, and they can adapt a lot too, adapt well. I think one of the biggest strengths of them is like that. They are fast, and they get places. They drone quickly, and they have gunners too.
And to our fans, thanks for cheering for us. We could hear you. We can always hear you. You guys are crazy. We love you.
I want to thank all NIP supporters internationally. We have a lot of Japanese fans, Brazilian fans, like here in the crowd and on the live streams. Thank you so much. Bora Brasil!
All right, Montreal, make some noise! Look at the representation out there. Vamos, Brazil, and also NA. We have a serious shot at this, but fellas, let's jump right into it. Starting off with the rowdy Brazilians, tell me a little bit about NIP.
I mean, I mentioned it earlier, they had a bit of a rough start to the tournament. They came through their bracket 2-0, but man, these guys have been here for such a long time. It's NIP I'm talking about right now. These guys have been in the scene for such a long time. They have the OGs, Kamikaze, Julio, and Psycho. These guys were runners-up at the Season 6 Pro League Finals, the very first time our scene went to Brazil for a Major or Pro League Finals. These guys were runners-up there. They had a really tough last invitational where they went out in groups, and this year, it's been a question mark for them. They came first in Latin America for the Pro League Season 10 and currently for Season 11, but they didn't get to do so well in Tokoname because they were playing with subs. This is their opportunity. This is the best opportunity Latin America has had to make it to being world champions.
Yeah, the fiery hot NIP, this is basically their revenge tour from the Pro League Finals, but also TSM. Imzo, this team has been fiery hot. Bolo, Pojo, man, Merc, the rest of them, they've been amazing.
Yeah, you were talking about OGs on NIP, of course. You've got some real OGs on here going back to year 1 because there wasn't Latin American Pro League yet till year 2. So a nice mix of old and fresh blood, and I think that's what makes this team such a vital force in NA, is just having that mix. You've got Bolo, who couldn't even play before. You've got Merc, just a gunner coming out, Challenger League Achieved, who just grinded Challenger League for the longest time, just sitting there in the wings waiting for his shot. And then Gio, of course, going way back. He may have had a rough day yesterday, but I'm looking at him today to really just kick things off.
And looking at the stats, there were 3 players that were super positive. In order to win a championship, that's exactly what you need. But let's do a little head-to-head comparison. We have Julio and Bolo, but starting off with Julio, what can you tell us about?
You can see Julio is a very flexible player. His favorite defensive operator is Castle, believe it or not. One that you usually only spring out for specific scenarios. It's not just a mainstay pick like you would have your Zofia, your Legion, your Jaeger. And Julio's been really stepping up for his team in those dire moments, despite being those support players. When push comes to shove, he's happy to frag out, jump in there, and we saw that with some clutches on Coastline just yesterday.
Yeah, Julio has definitely stepped up big, but he couldn't have done it without the teammates that were beside him, because this whole team, they came up when it mattered in their game against BDS, and his clutch to close out the series was probably one of the best that I've ever seen. But Imzo, what else about this player makes you scared?
I mean, it's just consistency, man. With the players that could just, through this whole tournament, through this marathon, show up time and time again. Emotional ups and downs doesn't matter.
Yeah, and now Bolo. We all know who Bolo is, and he's about to play now. What makes him so good?
I mean, we've talked about it time and time again. This man was sitting around since he was 15. I remember people talking about, yeah, we're gonna pick him up when he's... Yeah, I remember this man being around. Everyone joking about picking him up, and you weren't sure if they were serious. But man, they were, and he was just as serious about playing. This man grinded to this point. All of you out there who are thinking, I'm too young to play right now, but I want to play pro someday, you take a look at Bolo. He's not just playing pro, he's playing it on the biggest stage of this game on earth right now, at the highest level, possibly gonna lift that hammer. Just grind your way to it, you can do it. Bolo's proof.
Now Pablo Napiulo is Bolo. A lot of people had a lot of questions and a lot of expectations once he entered the professional scene, and I think it's safe to say he didn't disappoint. But both of these teams are gonna face off on some maps. We have the map veto currently coming up. I love that cosplay. That is, it's so sparkly.
Shout out to the
and
Rainbow
beautiful.
is Magic cosplayers.
Yes.
And all the cosplayers.
So, first 2 maps that are banned and taken off the board is going to be Border and also Cafe Dostoevsky. What's to expect?
So this is to give a bit of context here. TSM always ban Border, and it's decent for NIP, so smart ban there. As for the Cafe ban, we've seen TSM play it quite a lot. Now it's not one of NIP's insta bans necessarily, but TSM did beat them last time these guys played against each other. So I think that's a smart move. Now we're getting into the picks. Now, you want to?
Yeah, I mean, I ran into Julio yesterday, and I was like, Clubhouse? And you could see the twinkle in that man's eye. There's a reason they picked that. They're prepared for this. They were ready to go there. Cafe was a little bit of a weak one for them in the match against TSM last time. So I can understand getting that off the board right away. The Consulate is the interesting one because Consulate has been such a good map we've seen for TSM, but it's also a good map for NIP. And it's like, that was one last time that they actually managed to beat TSM on, but it was a close match. So this is gonna be adaptation city here, and TSM, you know Bagel is working hard to make sure they're ready for this rematch on it.
All right, so Coastline Villa taking off the board. Bank will be the decider map, and boys, it's time for fun. The game is gonna be underway in about a minute, but predictions. Imzo?
All 3 maps of these are good for both teams. It's really gonna come down to who adapted the best, who did their prep last night, but I don't know, man. The way TSM matches up, I'm seeing TSM potentially pulling this ahead.
So we're gonna have an NA versus NA fight.
I wanna see it.
All right, Dev Morner, you're the only exotic one on this desk. Is there any hope for NIP?
Consulate is going to be a bloodbath, 8-7, and NIP takes it, and then Clubhouse, NIP are going to take as well. We're going to see NIP versus SSG in the grand final. I'm calling that right now.
All right, Latin America, that's your man, Dev Marta. But ladies and gentlemen, now it's time. Blue and Stokes, take it away.
All right, thank you very much, Relly. And it is time, ladies and gentlemen, for our lower bracket grand final. And what an epic one we have set up. A battle between North and South America that could continue all the way into the grand final if NIP comes out on top of this matchup. Stokes, what do we think of it?
For this matchup especially, I have to agree with Dev Marta. I think it's going to be a bloodbath. These two teams can both gun. They play very fast, and that's where things are going to have to be decided. Who can be the better fraggers?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, the wait is over. Let's get loud as it's match time. It's siege time. Let's get into Consulate. NIP versus TSM for the lower bracket final. The fight for the final spot in the grand final at SI 2020. Well, we know who the crowd's favoring, that's for sure, at least to start things off. We've got our bans coming out. Both the attackers have already been banned out, with Capitao and Dokkaebi being removed from the lineup. Mute, interestingly enough, is going to be TSM's pick to ban out as their first defender choice.
Like the Dokkaebi ban, like the Mute ban especially, Consulate's a very impactful map for Mute, so get rid of him. Allow yourself to drone freely just a little bit more. Still have to worry about those Mozzie pests, of course, not Muzi. That would be the player from NIP. But Echo, going to be our last ban. That one's pretty self-explanatory. No one likes dealing with those yokai drones.
Especially on a map like Consulate, we've seen him banned out pretty much universally throughout the course of this tournament. Meister, of course, still going to be left in, so you do have the delay that could come from that, but it's much less effective, and overall will get dealt with almost always by the attacking team through frag grenades or another avenue. First picks coming in, we are going to start out with a basement defense for NIP, as they will be on that defensive side to start things off. Moving from there, we should expect them to swing either over towards the first floor site or second afterwards. But basement will be their starting point in garage here.
Well, luckily enough, we do have Bolo on the IQ, so he'll be able to help with Julio. Those Electro Claws on the garage door. Been switching away from Bandit recently, just because you have to set those Bandit batteries close and actually play near the garage wall or whatever wall you're going to be attempting to Bandit trick. And that means you're in a very dangerous location that the offense can obviously know. So Kaid's been getting a lot more play because of that fact, which makes it to where you actually have to find the Electro Claw. It's not in the default area. As long as it's within the radius of the Electro Claw, it will be electrified. So having Bolo in play on this IQ is a very, very big deal for TSM.
Not only does this make it just a little bit easier to try and actively trick out the garage, but also opens up the possibility to trick hatches in the first place. Kaid is the only operator that can do that currently. Pulling that up though. You see the rest of the team continue the setup. There is going to be quite a bit of roaming presence established for NIP on the second floor at the beginning of this round, so it will not be the easiest thing in the world for TSM to clear out. They'll have to do a little bit more work, especially, as you can see from our silhouettes, over towards yellow stairs. For TSM will have enough control to swing down into the basement and try to take control over the site.
Very standard take on Consulate here for TSM. Merc just firing some random bullets. If he gets a headshot, he gets a headshot. That's how things work here, but nobody obviously beneath him because we have those nice silhouettes. Most of top floor control, especially after Bolo hits that nice shot onto Psycho, top yellow. That'll be the first kill of the game. As more soon to come, Julio from underneath with a nicely placed Nitro cell as he's playing Anti.
Right there with the trade back. Merc trying to hunt for that player on yellow stairs, but is going to be unable to successfully locate them. They will be able to fall back over towards the first floor, where NIP's got kind of a two-tiered defense here, it seems, as well. There's still piano control exercised by them at this point. They've got a lot going for them, as NIP still has a lot of control, and we're just about halfway through the opening round here, so TSM will need to speed up the pace or find a better way to potentially clear out this roaming presence. Dropping in now, it does look like at least part of Piano has been cleared out. However, Achieve has still got a fight that he's got to win before he'll have full control down here on the first floor. Gonna have to try and move in and swing out this player in the bathroom. It should be Julio playing from the inside. On to Kaid right there. Is he going to be able to hold in a high pressure situation? It won't even matter though, as they completely missed Muzi, who drops down the hatch. And in the meanwhile, Julio, he'll be able to jump out from the bathroom to take out Merc. A nice play from NIP maintains their man advantage at a 3v2.
The guns aren't warming up, they're already hot for both of these teams. TSM trying to swing hard, but NIP always there to push him back down to Poach and Geo to try and clutch this first round out for TSM. Don't have bathroom control just yet, but they'll now have the info to know that it is clear. Already used an exothermic charge on it as well. They could rotate down and try and get the garage, but obviously Julio is still up, so probably not the best avenue of travel.
Gio hunting for anything through this top-down avenue that was opened up earlier on in the round. Besides that, we are going to see Pyjamas move in. Should be able to get the garage wall open without any delay. There is no way for Julio to actively contest that, since it's going to be a little bit late to the party. Anyway, so the garage door does get open. Here's the problem, though. Only 20 seconds remaining to at least put that diffuser onto the ground. Pyjamas just now starting to push. He's missed the player at pillar, but it's not even going to die to that. It's the one back in cafeteria that takes him out instead. Gio will be able to find the trade onto the player hiding behind the pillar just seconds before, but now has to swing into the site, and it's just not going to work. NIP take control of round number 1 and gain the early lead here in the map.
The confidence from Nip taking these gunfights is so impressive. You guys saw Poach try and rush into the garage at the last second there. Ended up getting peeked by 3 separate people, 3 of them. Ninjas and Pyjamas just playing very tight-knit right now, and I think that that's what they're going to need to be able to get through this entire series.
NIP with some great play. We'll take a look at the replays here. Nice early nitro cell that had come out from NIP. Along with this was the key thing that it got missed, and well, yeah, it did quickly get traded out. It was then followed up by a missed run out a couple of seconds later, which led to many, many issues for TSM and ultimately set up that 2vx that they just not have the time nor the positioning to properly play into, leading to the rush execute from their final player after we saw the only other one fall trying to push in from the garage breach. Good opener from NIP though. Great amount of control exercise and a little bit sloppy from TSM. So we'll have to hope that's just them getting woken up here in the morning. That won't be an issue in future rounds.
NIP going to be picking up Clash. Julio, already 4 kills through 1 round. Very impressive, that quad on that last one. You're more than likely going to be seeing Julio play top yellow. That's where this shield's extremely impactful, but Clash is just impactful overall. She has a CCE shield that fires electricity and slows you down for your movement. Very, very slow moving is what the offensive operators will be feeling if they are electrified by her. Also, she's got a banger of a secondary pistol, so Julio could do some damage if he needs to.
We did see how effective proper Clash play can be. We had the BDS versus Fnatic match back on day number 1 of our main stage. It was causing so many issues and so much delay for the attacks once they had the Clash position directly on top of yellow stairs. Fnatic really struggled to get past it and only was able to really take the round on this site a couple of times, one of which was due to a hot breach that caught BDS off guard.
Well, TSM setting up for a top take. Already have Merc on connector window. Just need more pressure from his teammates around the site area. So, just getting air jab set up for the time being. Seeing if TSM will go for the yellow take here. This is standardly how they clear this, especially for the top floor. Admin takes, we haven't seen too many of those in recent history, but actually at this LAN, things have changed up quite a bit with how teams are taking. It's really just personal preference when it comes down to it, but admin obviously traditionally is the standard for this map, but a lot of teams switching back and forth. We actually have the Clash inside a connector. We have the Jaeger of Psycho sitting on yellow. Pino with the first kill. That's going to be Merc. No impact on this round.
Pino just going to rotate himself back upstairs closer to the site now that his job has been done, and the advantage has been gained for NIP. Clash still causing issues as she'll be blocking off access, or at least easy access, to the rappel angles from the window on Consulate. And away from this, Achieved still sitting on the roof, waiting for an opportunity to open up for himself to find something here as well. Was priming himself a frag grenade. He's trying to bait the timing out a little bit more here. In goes the nade. It should take care of the barricade just to the right of where you saw the explosion, but is not going to kill Kamikaze. As you see, he just barely survives that with a single sliver of health. That'll now be capitalized upon by Bolo.
That's going to be a big pick, get rid of the smoke early on, and now they're a lot safer in this execute when they choose to go for it. Bolo still has connector control, but Julio's trying to contest. He's staring at the window, but he could possibly get shot from bathroom. No, it's Pino first strike here onto the Habana. Very good gameplay here from Ninjas and Pyjamas overall, just slowing down this push of TSM, snuffing it out at every single corner. TSM is going to have to try and find some other way onto site. They cannot continuously repel here and waste time, as Achieved is actually going to be one of the initial ones to rotate and catches Muzi near bottom yellow.
Good pickup from Achieved, finally capitalizing on some pressure towards yellow, but the problem is Psycho still in the way. Quickly traded out, however, as Gio finds the exchange. Now Pino going to try and swing in that same position. Not even watching it right now. It's a free walk-in, and they had security from Julio regardless. Bolo has worked his way in from the other side of the map, but this is futile on the 1v2. He's gonna be held up by the Clash. He has to try and win the duel, but he's not even given a chance. Pino quickly shuts it down, and NIP find their second round.
Very nice angle from Pino here. All the way from yellow. Very nice lineup. But Ninjas in Pyjamas on that last defense, able to slow down TSM so much. TSM just not making a quick enough adjustment in that mid-round in order to be of any use inside of that offense. So they need to try and make some adjustments quicker here. Otherwise, Ninjas in Pyjamas is just going to continue to do this. This onslaught on defense is what they proved yesterday that they can accomplish even against teams like BDS. So TSM needs to think ahead of the game rather than in the moment.
Pino with some great mobile play happening throughout the course of this round, really just being the mold that can fit in anywhere through that round, as you saw playing from multiple positions in and around near the yellow stairs. Massively impactful. He got a 4K on that one, actually. It's 2 4Ks in a row for NIP, if that is the case. They are thriving at the moment, leading 2-0 over TSM. We do have the game paused temporarily here. Trying to figure out exactly the reasoning for that. So we'll look into that, but it's looking like we'll have a lobby and press defense next for NIP as they'll swing onto that site for the third and final point on their site triangle.
TSM still rocking the proper operators. Consulate's kind of a one-size-fits-all when it comes to ops. You just pick your lineup and continuously run it all the way through. We have seen Poj switching back and forth between Habana as well as the Thermite, but they more than likely know which site they're going to be going to next. They've already won 2 defenses. It's either going to be split or lobby. They're more than likely guessing lobby, but Habana will be able to help out with that just a little bit if they need some hard destruction anywhere. Although they do have quite a bit of soft destruction, especially in Achieve, one of the best bucks in the world. We'll see if he can get that top floor presence in order to actually assist them with that skeleton key.
Move quickly into round number 3 now that the game has resumed. Operator lineups actually looking relatively aggressive here from NIP. You've got not only a Rook, but a Doc as well. You have to wonder what NIP is trying to throw out on this round. Besides that though, normal reinforcements going down across the board. Nothing truly out of the ordinary with regards to the setup here, as the play will focalize on that bathroom directly between the 2 sites, on top of controlling upstairs for as long as humanly possible, to allow NIP to restrict the control from TSM, prevent them from being able to open up all those top-down angles, and then by the end of the round, prevent them from getting access to any sort of plant.
Well, we're going to have Julio on the dock, so more than likely going to have some aggressive angles taken as TSM enters the field. Muzi also on the other ACOG brother being Rook. So, now that TSM is out on the field, looks like it's going to be a standard take here, which is to be expected for this side. They need that top floor control. No pressure here from Ninjas in Pyjamas inside of admin. TSM will know that here in just a couple seconds as the drones just start to warm up.
Just clearing things out in admin real quick so that Merc or another player will be able to swing in without too much of a worry. Won't be able to find anyone until they get way up towards Projector. So not going to be any issues clearing out this second floor, at least to start with. But at the same time, Bolo just going to take some work to be done. We're on that electronic scanner. I think with the default cam sitting below in the next room, that would be V's office. Now he'll go back to droning. Could be the only one too. You can see another one he just went past over there behind the long desk, checking these forward angles and hopefully preventing any counterplay from NIP to come out here. Merc definitely aware that there's a possibility for someone to be playing on the inside of Projector. So opening up the angle to fire back at that now should someone from NIP try to swing out towards the stair door.
This is a very nice setup here from Ninjas in Pyjamas, playing long angles with those ACOGs. And they also have a crossfire for long desks, so this is very, very dangerous. If Muzi falls back, Julio will be able to trade him or assist him from bathroom. So TSM has to play this to a T, otherwise this could be very, very bad. Getting some more information with these drones, but this is wasting a lot of time, and Ninjas in Pyjamas does not want to give up the setup.
Polo still looking for some type of opener for TSM here. It's a much more timid TSM than we're used to seeing. They are a little bit afraid of what NIP could throw at them. And when push finally comes to shove, Muzi gonna take some damage on the initial fight, but no one will fall just yet. Muzi out of ammo, oh, steps one little foot to the right, and that exposes him, taking him down. Another down is gonna be picked up by Bolo. He's also out of ammo, over to the sidearm for the kill, and Achieve comes in for the save just in time as he's able to knock out Psycho.
Ninjas in Pyjamas constantly throwing bodies to try and solve the solution here, or at least find the solution, but it's not working out for them right now. Might have a nice move though. Pino's worked his way upstairs, bags himself an Achieve. Quickly sprints back downstairs though, needs to try and figure something else out to help out Kamikaze, who's currently alone inside of Antechamber, has stuns pouring in, and they also have info. So he's gonna adjust towards bathroom. Very nice shot from Pino, takes down Geo. This is all of a sudden extremely doable for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Kamikaze still has Toxic Babes in his pocket as he throws the first one. Nice rotation here, but Poach is already sticking to Diffuser and they can't find him. Bolo with a triple on the round and Diffuser's already down. Pino into the post plant, but he can't find anything. And you've been asking when he'll play, and it appears it starts right now. That's a 4K for Bulo, Bolo, Buelo, however you want to say it.
Got a 4K in every single round so far, fun fact. And the crowd, well, they've woken up as well after that one, with Bolo certainly stepping up to the plate to put his team on the board.
I'm sorry, did you say 4-4-4? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, just wanted to make sure.
It's accurate.
To check it. That is indeed, though. 4 quads in a row. The lucky number of Rainbow Six Siege, apparently. Cafe Garage here for Ninjas in Pyjamas on the next defense. Need to try and extend this defense as much as possible before TSM gets onto that defense. We've seen how dominant they are on this Consulate side.
Crowd's certainly getting excited now as TSM finds their first round onto the board. We've got the Brazilian fans over there in their section as well. They've been very loud too, so could have ourselves an interesting game to be sure in that regard. NIP once again though drifting down towards the basement after they fail on their initial defense of the piano room. Back to basement though, they've already been able to close out on this site at least once so far. We'll now look to do it a second time. TSM unfortunately spent far too much time trying to clear out the roam presence from NIP and also missing one key player that was able to re-rotate back upstairs later on in the round. Crush against TSM caused a massive team fight that NIP would eventually gain the superior advantage from to set up a 3v2 where they would close out the round.
Well, now that TSM is warmed up, got a round on the board, should be a whole heck of a lot less worried about how this outcome will go. Now they don't have that donut sitting there. Just play your game, see how things go. TSM last round, pretty quick on their execution and very smart in how they played up against Ninjas in Pyjamas. They did not get complacent. Oh, what a shot from Merc. Beautiful tracking through those cubicles upstairs.
That confidence immediately coming in from TSM after they pick up that initial round. Finally starting to realize that they can make an impact here. You don't need to be so fearful of the aggression that's also being thrown out from the other side of the coin on Nip's end. Bolo very close to connecting onto that spam as well, but at the moment, no damage done to the second roamer, hiding upstairs over towards Console. Bolo gonna go back over to the electronic scanner to do a little bit more of the utility work, which is his job over the course of this round. While he waits for that peek to eventually swing out the inside of Console. It's looking like it's not gonna happen though, as the fallback works its way down through the hatch and is instead going to see the contestant come from yellow.
Need some reconnaissance done upstairs. So he still has an enemy inside of the Console office. Bolo though working his way down yellow. Might have had a drop, but we haven't been able to confirm that just yet. Yep, everyone is now clear from upstairs as NIP all down except for the one lone member inside of the bathroom. That's going to be Julio once again. Last time he was able to make quite the stance here. He's going to have to do so to try and prevent piano control.
Quite the stance of it eventually let him have a 4K overall on the round. We cannot let him have this much impact once again. In fact, Pojaman going to open up one of the walls, leading in, achieved. Strikes next though, taking out Julio. Now opening up much more potential for TSM to play into this. Still over a minute remaining, so plenty of time for Achieve to open up the top-down control. Potential for play and kills. More importantly, this means that NIP is not going to be able to actively contest the front side of the site once the appropriate angles have been opened up. Going to cause issues with them in the late round as they'll have to fire back mainly from cafeteria. Even there though, the Buck can still find some angles onto these players, but not able to find too much here. A good 20 to 30 seconds to use since they got control of this room. They they haven't seemed to force a whole lot of relocation from NIP's remaining roster deeper into the site. But what they do have, however, is the garage wall open, so the execute should not be far away for TSM.
Still have ADSs, as that'll be burned by the lifeline, trying to keep Ninjas in Pyjamas in check while they put this diffuser down. Mojo still on it, and that's gonna be locked in. We're going into the post plant after Muzi hits a very nice shot, but TSM already has post plant positioning. This is very dangerous for Ninjas in Pyjamas to play into. They don't have much utility at all in order to try and break line of sight or anything.
Away from that. Time going to continue to tick down. Oh, a nice shot from Kamikaze as he catches Achieved on the rotate. Gio still holding the bathroom hatch, however, will be able to take out Pino as they get closer and closer towards that diffuser. Gio should have angles on it, but Bolo's also got one from the outside. And while Gio was there for the assist, didn't even need it. Bolo picks up the double at the end of the round, and TSM claimed their second, tying up the game, excuse me.
Tying up the game, my friends. Tying it up. We're 2-2 now. This TSM has actually woken up. Ninjas in Pyjamas now need to react. What is the plan? Because right now it's not working out. This roam pressure TSM is dealing with so well. And are they going to give us the replay of that vertical angle? I don't believe they are, but the way Achieved got that kill upstairs was the skeleton key through the floor, and he made almost a 70-degree angle into the bathroom. So when the exothermic charge went off and Julio tried to rotate away, he shot him right above the reinforcement where the lip is through upstairs. Just truly incredible, the angle that he found.
Great butt play been coming out in this tournament from Achieved specifically. He's definitely been their mainstay on this operator since this event got started a little over a week ago. I think also one of the more impactful players for TSM at this event. It's really been a fragging spree for Achieved, Merc, and Bolo for the most part here. A few of the other players, at least in regards to yesterday's game, still being a bit silent here on the main stage, but that could change in this matchup, as a lot is on the line for TSM. Not only do they have the greater prize pool to play for, but second place to be potentially taken if they are not able to come out on top of SSG, and more importantly, the chance for that rematch that led to such a great game yesterday evening.
And I believe that's going to be the biggest struggle here. Remember, this is not only a race, but a marathon. They have to do this all day long. If this goes 3 maps, whoever wins that has just the Year 5 reveal panel. And then they have to do it all over again inside of what's technically a best of 5, but obviously the winner's bracket, being the SSG squad, has a 1-map advantage.
Oh, Merc. Line up here in the early round. Oh, just not able to catch it there to his left side. Will keep himself at full HP for the time being. TSM still working on their drone play. Still within the first minute of the round, so that is to be expected at this point in the gameplay. Bolo, once again, the first to hop into the second floor for the roam clear. He's going to take control of Meeting Projector. Start to slowly swing forward here. The player that was on the second floor has already retreated through the console hatch back down into Piano. So no additional presence from TSM. NIP are fearful, and they've got a reason to be, as Merc once again gets TSM started with the opening kill, finding Pino and eliminating that very impactful Maestro.
This is a scary thing for Ninjas in Pyjamas. You don't want those guns getting hot. They're going to shut them down. Cool them off. Oh my, Ninjas in Pyjamas. Achieved and Poj, the last 2 remaining members for TSM after a burst of speed from Ninjas in Pyjamas. Exothermic charge goes off on the garage. Obviously, the basement site. Panel 3's been open. Toxic smoke now pours out of it, though, as Achieved is off doing his own thing on the eastern side of the map. Trying to see if he can possibly get a roamer that's rotating towards the garage. Trying to keep this roam game in check, but obviously that has not worked out for the most part. Gonna have it down here as Achieved has actually dumped himself into the basement. Oh, we have a trace here, but Poj can't get his first kill. They have to try and make a pinch happen. Achieved has dropped himself into server. He's gonna pop a hole into electrical room wall. He's just trying to find anything with this ACOG site. Still has frag grenades as well, which could help him out.
Chief with that find, but now trying to figure out how to continue this play. We're into the archive side room. Still trying to potentially find a fight from someone in cafeteria, but NIP aren't giving it to them. They're taking a very passive route to try and win this round, as they have done in past rounds as well. They know that TSM has a lot of gun power and a lot of capability to win the round purely on gunfights and trades alone. So they are not trying to take the fight at this point in the round if they have a choice in the matter. In the meanwhile though, Pyjamas now gonna move in the pinch on the Cafeteria, has begun, and he starts it off great with a pick. Some more damage done over onto Psycho to bring him a little over 50 HP, and in the meanwhile, TSM has taken control of Cafeteria. This could be a safe harbor for them to find their plant. They potentially have a mismatch on Hela's the Diffuser right now, though, when you consider Achieve's low HP, but oh, the Skeleton Key from long range takes out Julio with the headshot. Here comes the rotate though, but no! Pyjamas spots it, hops off the Diffuser with just a couple seconds remaining, finds the final pick against Psycho.
You want to talk about heart attacks for TSM fans. Achieve looking the wrong way there for just a second, but Poach finds his first kill, and that's going to be a huge impact frag, and what a clutch from these two.
Very well done in the 2v3. It's another 2vx situation that TSM find themselves in. The previous one being a failure, but this time it's a success as they take control of the basement, taking all that time they had remaining on the clock. Once again, great top-down play being used here from TSM. Well, I think it was unfortunate as Nip and they had set that up for them. Either way, though, we saw NIP come very close to bringing that back in the mid-round. Their heads-up play, the rotate from Muzi, going up the spiral stairs, the hold against the yellow stairs push, but eventually faltering as Pyjamas caught this run-in the back of Cafeteria. And while his teammate did go down, he was able to save the day in that final 1v1.
Well, it appears that it's going to be a day of streaks here, John. 3 in a row for TSM, previously 2 in a row for NIP. Great game so far. Ninjas and Pyjamas on the defense, though, through these last 3 rounds have just not been able to find their footing, and it seems that they can't handle things like they did the first 2 rounds. TSM came out cold, but they're definitely hot now. You have to make sure that you can win on those trades, and that's where Ninjas and Pyjamas is currently failing. When it comes down to it, even in those 3v3 situations, or even when they're man up, they're still taking these solo gunfights that are punishing them because TSM are now just shooting straight. Sometimes it's just as simple as that.
TSM are going to continue to execute on the same philosophy. For the first time in a while, though, we do have the site changed up. NIP are going to switch it up to the 2nd floor. We can see a successful hold primarily through the yellow stairs. That all came from Pino, who had a great mobile playstyle the last time this site was brought into the fold, and once again, more than likely expecting to do the same thing, being that versatile player to try and shut down the push from TSM. TSM are going to avoid the issue of the yellow stairs, at least at the beginning of the round, however. So we've got 2 to 3 players going up on Rappel right now, and in Merc's case, already swinging in to be able to take control of admin away from NIP.
I like this attack here from TSM. It's going to give you more space to deal with this clash. Clash, inside of congested areas is very difficult to deal with, because if you try and concuss her or anything of the sort, obviously it can always splash back to you, and it's very hard to try and track her shield movement when that happens. So having this open space in order to try and find some angles to deal with the clash is a much better situation for TSM. Nice Nitro Cell burn there from Bolo, sprints forward, then immediately back to try and bait. It works out for him.
Push continuing to move forward here as Merc swings in past admin. He's going to take control of top of the service stairs. Moving his way down, though, further into admin, where he has a few more teammates waiting for him. They'll be able to group them up and get ready for a push, potentially through that doorway very early on in the round. Still have a minute and a half remaining. They are trying to watch out for rotates, as that's what nearly cost them on the previous round, as well as caused issues when Pino did the same thing the last time they attacked this site. So back to droning for the time being now, at least in Bolo's case, to try to get a good idea as to what the remaining setup is like. And they do catch the player on Spiral, rotating back down. His position has been revealed, and I believe that's going to be the priority to take care of here for Merc. But,
oh no!
Oh, what are you doing, Merc? Not ready for the fight, or seemingly thinking that he has it for free or something. Unscopes from the engagement. Muzi is alerted by that. And now it's time to strike back. Bolo is there to fix that situation, though, as he quickly trades it back to take out Muzi.
Merc shot the panel too much, loses a lot of ammo, but that doesn't mean anything as Bolo's trying to work long. NIP fires back though, 3v2 in favor of them. Nice rotate catch from Geo. Is he gonna get the clash? Yes, he is. Poj and Geo in the clutch situation again, already equalize and bring it one further. Kamikaze now needs to try and win this to save any toxic babes. A low HP, nice shots! And Geo with TSM push it one step further, 4 rounds in a row.
Merc's ammo snafu, definitely a scary situation for TSM, given what could have been a great execute besides that, but they do bring it back under their own control, setting aside yet another round for themselves as they close out the half with the definitive advantage at 4-2. 3 more rounds separates them from victory and a 1-0 advantage in this best-of-3 series.
So what happened to Merc there, that poor man? He shot the barricade too much and he ran out of ammo when he went for the gunfight. Very unfortunate for him. But we are going to have TSM on their first defense. Already have the Mozzie out. Obviously, Mute is banned, so none of that extremely dangerous combo to deal with for the drone game of NIP. Merc already 6 picking away from the Mira, picking up the Valkyrie. She's amazing on this map. So many spots for those Valk cams to be set as we're jumping into round 7. TSM up 4-2 right now after NIP actually linking together 2 rounds at the very beginning.
And important for the success of the Valk play from Merc is the fact that they do not have an IQ to counter it currently for NIP. They will not have the easiest time spotting any of the cameras that may get chucked outside after the prep phase concludes, and those red invisible barriers, well, not really invisible, but those red barriers disappear, allowing for gadgets to be tossed outside, and in Merc's case, giving him a potential free camera, give him an idea as to what NIP's push is going to look like. First floor defense, interestingly enough, though, for TSM to start things off, a lot of the NA teams have been going to offsites first. We did not see that from NIP in the opening round, but TSM feels as though they can maintain control of this and get themselves started well with that lobby defense.
Oh, might have a hop out here from Achieved. Windows prepped already. Glass and everything gone, so no noise when he hops this, all except for obviously the vault. Almost a nice shot there from Julio. He had the lineup, but Palm Tree's gonna block him. Just another day in paradise, I guess. Checking all of these windows, he's gonna have to be very wary of where he steps foot. Nice air jab up top as well. Needs that to lock down those hops from the balcony that Achieve was trying to pull off just a little bit ago. But for TSM on this defense, they have good intel from this cam outside. There is no IQ in the lineup for NIP, so this camera could be up the whole time unless somebody's got some sharp eyes.
No one's spotting it as they walk by it there, so the intel going to continue to go into their favor here. TSM currently waiting for a potential run out to open itself up for the team, but no. We finally potentially see it there from Merc, as I did believe he tried to make a play. It is going to get caught out. And we'll see NIP instead claim the opening kill on the round. And here was the attempted peek on the corner. Kamikaze knew it was coming though, and immediately took out Merc as soon as he swung the corner.
Bolo with a nice fire back though, takes down Psycho. That's the only hard breach, so can't get the back of Bathroom or any of the reinforcements upstairs any longer. NIP stalling for time right now. Starved for information as well. Finally have some intel upstairs, but that's Bolo. He can disappear at a moment's notice with that ERC-7 backpack. Might be trying to go for a hop out here. He does have impact, so he could throw one on the ground to try and dispense of that air jab that is currently set up above the window. But it's going to be a quick rotate here for NIP as they're trying to find some space to work with. We're going to have a swing in upstairs. It's going to be a solo member though. Muzi has 2 to deal with. They also have the Buck downstairs. They now have some intel on his location. Is he going to go for this hatch drop? It looks like NIP wants to try and execute onto Piano.
Time getting lower though, just under a minute, and a 1-for-1 exchange will occur as NIP moves in to take that Piano control. Kamikaze and Geo both striking. The run out from Pojo Man is a failure. As once again, NIP is aware of it. Julio catches it. Got a nitro cell getting chucked up. It's going to be way off position though. Will not catch anyone from the NIP attack. Now only Achieved, who no, gets caught out by Muzi on the rundown. Still has the cardiac sensor in hand the whole time. Bolo, the last man standing here, trying to use that electronics jammer to prevent getting spotted by pre-placed drones. He's found the Zofia. Can he win the fight? The Zofia is being so smart though. Muzi just not taking the fight until he absolutely has to. Wastes a good few seconds, and most importantly, buys the time for Kamikaze to set up the trade angle and close out on the round for NIP.
Fantastic supporting angles here from NIP inside of this post plant. Oh, we're getting the chance started now, folks. So for TSM, they're heading straight downstairs. Don't want to try and deal with this again. Remember, that was their first defensive round. They chose to go to lobby. Very nice shot from Kamikaze as well, from all the way downtown. But we're still going to have the Vigil in play as well as the Jaeger, but this time Bolo is going to pick up that Jaeger. Merc on the Vigil, so this roam game is coming in force.
Great play indeed coming out from Bolo specifically on that round to find the pickup, but the awareness from NIP just too strong. Their info game really good in that round. It's how they're able to be aware of those runouts constantly as a dead player in support mode on the cameras, calling things out. And that's on top of just general game awareness and expected plays that NIP are going to guess that TSM would work towards, and quite successfully in that round, in order to stop their play potential on defense. Into the next round we go, however, as we are in the basement this time for TSM's next defense. Still with a lead, but a small one, with only one round in their favor. NIP could quickly re-reverse this, put the game in their favor, potentially swing up towards 7 and take that 1-0 advantage.
Well, when you see Merc on Vigil and Bolo on Jaeger, that means you're getting that road game we were just talking about. And they are extended all the way upstairs, not even holding the mid floor. They just reinforce the bathroom hatch instead. So NIP can either try and directly hit the site or try and cut off the staircases in order to keep the TSM members upstairs while they execute. This is going to be very difficult, though. We've seen that TSM is trying to prioritize these gunfights at almost every single opportunity.
So far it's been working out for TSM, at least on the attacking side, but the defense a bit more of a negative, at least for the opening round that they played into. Psycho opening up both of the windows into Piano, potentially catch anyone from TSM that would get aggressive here. Not finding anyone, however, this early on in the round. There are definitely a few players nearby, and that will be confirmed by the hard ping that works its way, I believe, onto the bathroom player that's set up from TSM further back. No, it's actually one roaming deeper into the halls. It was more than likely either Merc or Achieved. That's moving further around the map now after being caught out by a drone.
We are going to have Merc move to the mid floor as well. Going to use that ERC-7 backpack to make it seem like he's upstairs with the rest of the roam setup. Very intelligent play here from TSM. I like the setup a lot. Do have 2 members as well upstairs, more than likely Achieved and Bolo, but Merc on the mid floor gets the first kill as some unsuspected person, Pino, swings into, I believe, Piano here. No, actually, that's all the way on yellow, so even a nicer shot from Merc.
We're going to see Psycho get on Repel here, still looking for the bathroom player. He or she will end up moving out into the open to potentially take the next fight. Not going to happen, though. So Psycho feels confident enough to swing in. Oh! And Merc was there for the congestion, but Psycho wins out the fight anyway. That's a big opener for NIP to trade it back into a 4v4. Quite a bit of room going under their control as well, now that they can open up the front bathroom's hatch and get that point of view down onto the basement site. Still being wary, though, of the second floor roam, which was never cleared out by NIP. TSM does have a stolen drone controlled by Achieved on the Mozzie. He's going to look to try fish out the info on Psycho's position, but not an easy task here. TSM are continuing to play very passively, which is not necessarily something that we see too often from them, only throwing out the aggression when it's absolutely needed, as we somewhat saw in the case of Merc's swing from the bathroom. Obviously, though, that did not go into his favor.
Another exothermic charge down on the garage. Ninjas in Pyjamas prioritizing sight over these roamers, which is probably a good idea, but apparently not. Oh no, Geo gets absolutely destroyed on site, but it's going to be a trade, and she's been down. Nice flick there from Ninjas in Pyjamas, though, all over site. And we're once again equalized.
Just had the players from TSM getting flustered towards the end, especially the ones on the inside of Cafeteria. The down Mozzie as Achieved was knocked out first. Then we saw their Maestro try and go for the revive, but caught him on an off angle as we saw the rotate work its way in from NIP's players through their own rotate hole into Cafeteria, where he was able to close out on those final 2 kills and end the round. TSM showing some issues here at the start of their defense, but like we said, it's only the start. The game has once again been tied up, though, and that brings us into a 4v4 situation on rounds.
This truly is going to be the story of who is the better gunner, who can hold those tighter angles, who can win these gunfights. Very pivotal things happening inside of these rounds. That last round was all in TSM's hands to take. The roam game just didn't work out when it came down to that last second flank. Waited just a little bit too long in order to make something happen. Attempted to just drop the hatches instead of going for something a little bit earlier on just to assist their defense, and they got picked right when they hit those hatches. So kind of an issue there for TSM. Not a bad setup overall on the defense. It was just that last second misstep.
Well, TSM are back into the same site. As you said, since it's a last second misstep from them, they're going to feel confident in re-attempting the same thing. A lot of good things overall still coming into the fold for TSM on that round. Talk specifically about how their roam game upstairs really never got cleared out, allowing them to try and rotate in the late round, and only faltering due to those anchors just having bad communication and being mispositioned when the final fight worked its way into the round. We've got NIP spawned out and onto the board. They're already working their way over towards yellow to start throwing congestion here. Pyjamas still setting up his second Evil Eye. We would not expect him to stay here on yellow stairs for very long. He's going to be falling back pretty quickly, working himself into an anchor spot more than likely in the same area in the back of Cafeteria.
Well, Ninjas and Pyjamas making sure to cross their T's and dot their I's. Checking all of these runouts. Nomad, very impactful operator on Consulate. She can choke down all of the staircases if needed, but mostly used for runouts and the windows on the balcony. Nice drones here from Ninjas in Pyjamas, specifically Kamikaze, as the rest of the squad is sitting outside of the western area of the map. Looks like it's going to be a yellow take here for this, but again, we are all the way downstairs. Pino's already up yellow, trying to find himself some roamers.
Muzi in the meanwhile, gonna open up the first wall here on the second floor. There's potential for the push through to come in from NIP here now that they've got better point of view onto the TSM roamers sitting further back on the same floor. Also droning out the position from Merc. He'll be noticed on the inside of the bathroom. That's not too much of a surprise that you basically expect someone to be playing in there on a basement attack. So that's pretty standard to catch out. Real trouble, though, is getting him onto the outside of it and knocking him out. As you can see, already done quite a bit of soft destruction. Interestingly enough, the bathroom usually reinforced here. These two walls oftentimes are not going to be left soft, but not the case this time, leaving Merc with really not a whole lot of room to play with. You can hear the air jab as well, so if he moves too far out from his current position, he will be stunned and more than likely immediately killed, which, hey, that's gonna happen anyway, so maybe needed to go for a bit more of an aggressive play. Pino finds the opener on the round, killing Merc, and once again giving Pietro control over to NIP.
Oh, what a shot! But immediately traded by Julio at the front door. Bolo dead. And so is the roam game from TSM. Ninjas and Pyjamas in full control of the map. Now they just need to get a diffuser down and set up for this plant here. Still need to get the panels open. That's what Kamikaze is going to be working on with these exothermic charges. Opening up the third panel in front of White Van, where the plant will more than likely go down. Psycho, though, currently poised on yellow, can rotate down to assist his team. Has some barbed wire, though, so chooses to get rid of that first. One stun grenade in hand as well that he could possibly use to try and assist his teammates as we get down to 15 seconds. Still have a Nitro Cell as well, but not one on Geo. It's only going to be on Achieved. Hojo Man being up as well. It's very, very important as the diffuser goes down. Kamikaze is going to be able to confirm as Psycho has the hold from upstairs. Achieved with the first move towards pipes, but all of Ninjas and Pyjamas has already left the space. Nitro Cell goes off, but it's not going to do enough to take out Kamikaze as Ninjas and Pyjamas is all over this situation. It's down to Hojo Man. Still plenty of time, still plenty of ammo inside of this absolute abomination of a weapon that can kill an entire squad in seconds. Pre-fire's up top, but it's Kamikaze from White to close out yet another Ninjas and Pyjamas round.
NIP showing a lot of control right now, especially in the mid-round situations here. It's definitely taking them some time to establish their early control and either drone out or isolate the roamers from TSM so that they can kill them. But the executes are looking clean right now with that control that they get in the mid-round, leading to many, many issues for TSM. And of course, now their tactical timeout as things have started to get drastic with NIP taking the lead away from them once again.
I think this is a perfect time to do it. We discussed earlier, we thought this was going to be streaky after that happened with TSM where they linked together those 4 rounds. Now it's back in NIP's hand. They've put together 3. Call attack timeout, get things reset, just move to the defaults. If the things that you're trying to attempt to throw them off are not working, play the defaults, play to your strengths, play to those guns. TSM, though, on these roam games right now have not been able to set up for trades, and that's really been punishing them. The only one that they were able to secure in that last round was Bolo, but it was very, very late, and he instantaneously died once he tried to go to lobby.
Bagel certainly giving his best input right now, as you can see, but his time is running out, so he's going to have to flip that mic up over the next couple seconds here, and we'll be jumping back in game. It's been on pause. We're going to resume it, and we're heading upstairs for the next defense from TSM as they try yet again to find their first mark here in the second half. At the moment, this has been 3 rounds straight from NIP. They are running the gauntlet right now and looking to try and take it all the way up to 7. They're only 2 rounds away from completing that task.
Top floor defense here from TSM as they're trying to reset, re-strategize, hopefully gain some resurgence. Do have the Jaeger here as well as the rest of that colorful cast for the defense of TSM. So looks like we're gonna have a yellow hold here, folks. Pretty default when it comes to Consulate these days. Also some pretty default reinforcements. So it seemed that Bagel and I had roughly the same idea. Stick to defaults, try and kill people, hopefully it works out.
Junior just setting up those angles for himself to play into later on in the round with those couple of bullet holes on the sides of the 2 reinforcements, or excuse me, the 1 reinforcement with the 2 soft walls. They will have to reposition that barricade really quickly, though, as they do want it a little bit further up so they can play against the window push, potentially from behind as well, should the need arise to contest from the backside of the main desk.
I want to see how they're going to use this deployable shield that they just had the smoke set up with Poach. They adjusted it away from the long door and put it actually in the door of Consulate office. I want to see how they can possibly use that because it looks very dangerous from the console windows. Already have Pino looking for kills as he's repelled on Spiral. Nice little area to get the default cam as well. If you guys are newer to the game, right there, you can get it from the outside. Don't even have to pressure grass or anything. Should be the first thing you do when you load in.
Pino gonna jump up on Repel here over the next couple of seconds. For NIP, it's still all about the hunt to isolate out the roam presence in the early round right now from NIP. Kamikaze specifically taking plenty of time just directly from spawn to watch out for any aggression that TSM might try to throw out here. And it seems as though that strategy, not necessarily for Kamikaze, but for Muzi, has worked out well. He's been able to catch Bolo in his attempt to get aggressive against the push. We'll see a replay of that real quick. Oh, nicely done. Had the angle opened up down the hatch drop and immediately punished him when he went for the play down through the bathroom hatch.
Well, for the rest of the TSM squad, they're waiting on timer right now. Ninjas and Pyjamas pretty complacent with what they're doing, just holding angles, seeing if TSM wants to try and rotate and retaliate. They do have a pulse on bottom Spiral right now. Could be fatal if he missteps here. That's gonna be Merc, currently crouched. Very patient play here from Psycho. Oh, and he's gonna get it! Oh my! The sniper all the way out in the grass with that ACOG takes down Merc. It makes the situation even more dire for TSM. Achieve needs to come alive.
Nip taking things so carefully right now, and it's paying out massive dividends with the way that they have been able to just isolate players one by one on TSM and take them down. There's another one now from Psycho, who gets his 2nd kill on the round, immediately snapshotting onto Achieve's position as soon as he gets the intel that the rotate was coming down Spiral Hall. Now Muzi's got himself a 2nd one as well. Only Pojo Man is left. 40 seconds, he may be able to try and delay this, but no, that's not gonna be possible. Pino runs in. It's a flawless run from Nip to get them their 6th round and put them that much closer to victory and the spot in the grand finals.
Ninjas in Pyjamas all over the TSM defense right now. TSM does not have a leg to stand on. Seems at every front they are bested by Nip. But for Nip on these offenses, as you said, very patient play. Just hold the angles, waiting for those rotates. That's something that you need to do, especially with Consulate. It's a map where if the roam game is not successful, your execution goes pretty well from the offensive side. But again, if it's able to make an impact, that's when everything changes. Consulate's not a map that goes very well when you just go with a strictly turtle setup.
I think this is where TSM may be messing up, is they're expecting NIP to play a much more in-your-face playstyle. They're expecting them to do things like this, where they swing in, try to take the gunfights directly. They're not expecting these intel-focused plays where they drone out and trap multiple members of the defense before they even really start to take control of areas like yellow closer to the site. TSM's got one more chance to try and bring this back under their control and take this to OT on map number 1. We're gonna have to see if they'll be able to do it. It's gonna be on the basement defense once again, but NIP has looked incredibly strong on this attack. It'll be tough for certain, but NIP, they want that hammer just as much as NIP does, and they need to bounce back right now.
Remember, this is TSM's map pick. So going into Clubhouse, that will be NIP's. If NIP is able to pick this up, we could be seeing a 2-0 here to start the day off. That'd be the best thing for NIP if they're able to get that, so they have a little bit more time or a little bit more stamina inside of the tank. Obviously gets rest during that year 5 panel, but you want to stay warm, of course. NIP though. Oh my. All right, guys. Look, I know him, he's not that great, okay? Trust me. I'm just kidding. Veli's an amazing human being. But anyways, TSM though, on this defense, they need these roamers to pop up. I know we've been talking about it this entire game, but that's the main issue. Look at how many kills Merc has right now. He's 4, 3, and 9. Usually one of the most impactful players in the entire lobby, but Bolo currently has everyone in a duffel bag.
Uzi misfires that drone slightly, but is going to be able to just wrap it right around through the yellow doorway and up the steps quickly afterwards to clear things out for an NIP's attack. They will see that it is relatively clear. We got a nice little fact coming in from our friends at SiegeGG. Did you guys know that the attackers have won the last 8 rounds in a row, making this an incredibly offensive-sided map? Certainly seems to be the case. Defenses have struggled. Roam games specifically have been constantly getting either hunted down or caught out. This time though, Bolo starts us off well with the down on Nepino and the elimination. There's the immediate trade though, as Achieve tries to make a play out from the balcony, and Julio on rappel finds the counter to bring it into a 4v4.
That's the danger of NIP. They're very fast moving when they need to be. Gonna strike again, immediately trade. They're not afraid to take these gunfights. Psycho opening some lines of sight into the bathroom area. Gonna see a Vault Cam out of the closet, all the way in circle as well. So they now know that they have the mid-floor control, but where did Bolo go? That's the big question on NAP's plate. They have to find him, otherwise he could be even more of a nuisance inside of this round if he's not eliminated.
Psycho, once again waiting for the signal to come in. This player on TSM is going to push. I would assume that drone presence has been set up to watch for that play, especially now that they're going to be opening up the back wall against the bathroom hatch to give him a better angle onto the players downstairs. He'll have to be a little bit careful though if he approaches that angle. But no, Muzi instead catching the rotate from Bolo, taking him down and giving the man advantage over to NIP. We're not done just yet though, 40 seconds remaining. And NIP are not close to the execute point just yet. Psycho gonna get spotted out by a default cam that was left unshot there, not too much of an issue. They already knew that he was roaming over towards Piano. But now Julio must make the push, and NIP overall seems like they're going to have to make a little bit more of a blind play here. They are setting up for drone presence right now to give them the intel they need. They're gonna have to execute upon it in very fast fashion. You have the thermite in check here, only 13 seconds, and I don't believe they have a wall open. They are gonna have to force the issue. NIP leaving a lot up to chance in gunfights here. TSM picking up 3 kills in a row, and while the garage is now open, it's only Muzi in a 1vx situation, hoping that TSM would swing on him, but that's a far cry. We'll end up seeing TSM come out on top of another round to take this the distance and go to round number 12 to decide if it's OT or a victory for NIP.
It's exactly what you said, my friend. They had to go in blind. That pick on Pino was so huge. Getting rid of that buck, getting rid of those skeleton key shots, making it where they couldn't open up the floor up top how they wanted to. They only had that one area where they impacted the floor. They couldn't prevent White. They couldn't get any pressure anywhere else. Also down to the fact that the Habana wasted all of her X-Kairos and could not get the hatch open inside a bathroom. So that means the defense can actually step forward and try and stop this offense with utility as well as gunfights, and that's exactly what happened. When it comes down to the backbone of the site, you have to make sure to cut off those rotations and where they can play aggressive. Otherwise, stuff like that happens. A nitro cell is all of a sudden at your feet, and you're blown sky high.
Rare misstep on that round with regards to NIP's attack. The first one that TSM have actually been able to secure for themselves so far on this map. Gonna try to go for number 2 now, which would tie us up at 6-6. The 4-2 splits coming in for both teams. Over to this NIP. Once again, needs to look for the closeout here. Got a nice setup coming in from Merc and the rest of TSM, opening up a lot more direct congestion against these swing-ins from the piano angle that we've been seeing NIP use so much. Won't really be able to do that on this round due to the risk coming from Merc's Black Mirror, which has been positioned on the inside of the bathroom, along with the fact that, of course, Piano is now the site. So they should expect a lot more direct congestion just from the get-go.
Well, for NIP, the last time they attacked this site, it went extremely well, ended up winning it after some aggressive swing-ins, but Merc was able to get the opening kill we saw onto Yellow. Let's see if it can happen again here. Ninjas in Pyjamas trying to work the top floor, exactly what they need to do, but this time not starting from admin. They're going to be starting from a console. Again, last time that we were at this site for Ninjas in Pyjamas on attack, it was actually a very slow lineup until the inevitable punch happened. TSM finally linking together these defensive rounds, though. As before previously stated by CGG, it was 8 rounds in a row for the offense, which is something truly incredible. We don't see that very often.
Julio working his way up, again paying attention for any potential aggressive play from TSM. They've been masters really at catching it. So there's not much of a reason for TSM to try and throw it at TSM, just due to the low success rate that they've had overall so far in this map with their early round plays. The drone working its way in for NIP is going to make this fact even more obvious over the next few seconds. They are aware of the mirror setup now in the back of the bathroom connecting the two sites. They just have to try and find some of these more players, such as the Maestro sitting atop yellow. They're watching for run-ins from that position, along with the roaming presence, which is still set up deep into the second floor, closer towards admin, and one player in the basement. I believe that's achieved on the Pulse.
Ninjas in Pyjamas moving very slow. Don't want to misstep here with all of this roam presence that TSM has on defense. It's going to be huge for TSM as well. Plenty of nitro cells on the board, and especially with Achieved on that cardiac sensor, they can read these default plants pretty easily. Ninjas in Pyjamas, though, now have console control. Uzi's popped the hatch, so it looks to be a piano execute. Checking underneath to make sure that there's no one with nitro. It's going to set up some more cams. The stuns go in, and so does everybody else, but it's going to be anti-chamber, actually, as Julio swings in. Merc, though, to try and combine this, but no, it's going to be Kamikaze first here to actually get the initial kill. That's going to be Geo. That's the all to down. Very important here as Ninjas in Pyjamas is trying to force themselves on site.
The time getting lower and lower. Pino in a down state, and now finally confirmed, but there's the trade again from Julio and the follow-up from Psycho to take down Bolo. Achieved and Pyjamas are now the last hopes for TSM, and they've got to do it on a retake. Diffuser's gone down, the timer starts ticking away. Psycho with a second kill on the round, leaves only Pyjamas in the fight. A 1v4 beset against him, and he runs right into the setup in the bathroom. Julio gets the final kill, and NIP controls map number 1 of the lower bracket final. One more away from the grand final against SSG. Brazil may yet have themselves a contender here at SI 2020.
Well, they say defense wins championships, but apparently it's offense when it comes to Consulate between these two. Ninjas in Pyjamas, lights out when it was needed most, but it required max regulation in map 1.
Map number 2 is going to be right around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go forwards. We've got our analyst desks ready to break down this first map. Veli, take it away.
Oh my God, even with that fan base for TSM standing right beside NIP, they were still able to take it. The Brazilians are one more map away from the championship game. But James, what did you see?
I just want to say the first thing I saw in the crowd is those Brazilians over there supporting their favorite team. You're giving credit to the TSM guys, but I want to
I'm saying, even though they're right there, NIP was like, we don't care about you. We're gonna
not at all. And they have their own hype that they have brought into this game. And I think that a lot of this was won in NIP's preparation going into this game. Last time these two teams played against each other, I really think that NIP were a bit underprepared going into their map veto. Yeah. I think they let things slip that maybe shouldn't have against TSM playing Cafe, because Cafe was where TSM were most dominant, and that was NIP's map pick. And ironically, we have a switch now. TSM have doubled down, said we're undefeated on Consulate in SI so far. We're going to pick that again. NIP was expecting that. They've been doing their homework. They came out incredibly strong.
What happened the first time they played on Consulate?
It was an 8-7. It was very, very close, and it was very attacker-sided.
Speaking of attacker-sided, I'm so sorry.
We almost saw that 8-7 again.
Exactly. What did you like that you saw in attack?
I mean, obviously, the mute ban definitely helped with things because you saw a lot of slow and steady pushes, a lot of good droning from both teams, but it was boxing in defenders constantly. They were fighting a lot of spread out defenders across multiple floors, especially for garage defenses. On a lot of these garage defenses, they were like roaming top floor from both teams, roaming middle floor. And because of that, the attackers were just pushing in, boxing them out one at a time, eliminating them till they were at man advantage most of the time on those attacks at the end.
And you gotta love what you saw from Pino, but from the losing team, TSM, I saw a lot from Bolo. Bolo was making highlight plays left and right, but they just could not pull out the W. Do you think that individually people need to step up, or is this going to be a team effort?
I mean, I think we've seen a lot of people step up, especially like Bolo. I mean, we've seen some great plays from Pyjamas. Achieve has been doing his job. Gio, unfortunately, again, seems to be having a little bit of a rough day like he did yesterday. I think if this ends up being his next map, we could see a lot better performance from TSM. But I'd say most of NIP has been showing up pretty steadily.
One thing that I would like to point out from TSM is that we saw a really heavy roam strategy, especially when they were working down in the garage. Do you think that helped them or hurt them a lot?
It's a mixed bag, because what we saw a lot of the time from TSM was having Bolo. Usually he started on Vigil, he switched to Jaeger eventually, roaming around the top floor. There was a lot of reinforcements there as well. They put a lot on the projector walls to cut off those angles between projector and long desk. Merc was also chilling in bathroom downstairs, but to be honest, the way that NIP decided, look, let's not push Bolo. We know he's on fire. We know he's got a lot of utility up there, bulletproof cams. Let's just start to cut him off. And they just went full send into Piano. They took down Merc, all the utility you could ask for. And I think that the way that NIP prioritized their opportunities and cut off rotations was really what was key there to eliminating the TSM defense.
All right, now Imzo, I love it when you get nerdy and you have a Telestrator segment for us. What would you like to show the viewer?
Yeah, this is going to go right into what you were just talking about, which is, especially in those garage attacks, they realized the rotations back were too slow. They would just box players in, like I said, and they would do that on the objective as well. You can see here in this garage defense, you've got Pyjamas sitting in security, where he'd struggled a little bit the previous round with all his fun little holes on the wall, which, you know, are a nice distraction, achieved as well. And Gio also trying to hold from cafeteria. They're just trying to hold a line across here to just try and prevent them from getting the garage. But as you see the match progress here, you see a lot of members of NIP just getting in good positions. Important thing though is Gio makes a play here. Unfortunately, I don't think he has a C4 left to go to try and stop the plant. And they're really just trying to play angles. Unfortunately, NIP has angles in the advantage. Kamikaze able to get behind the white van where he needs to plant. They don't have a smoke or anything to deny him. You see an explosion go off there, they just blow the other wall. And then you've got the coverage here from Yellow Stairs. Julio as well, pinching. And because of that, they're able to make a play exactly when they need to. Even Achieved trying to make a run up here on the side just doesn't really work because you've got the player here on Yellow Stairs.
Yeah, he was absolutely outnumbered, and that's the one thing NIP really fought for. NIP, they fought for map control, and when TSM gave him just an inch, they took a mile. Yellow Stairs was under their control. The front of the garage, they had no pressure on them, and it didn't seem like that long game was what they needed.
I really want to credit the way that NIP set that up. Like you said, Yellow Stairs, outside breach, but what we couldn't see on the camera there was a player above with holes in the floor. And when Gio tried to push up from the left, like you said, he didn't have that C4. If he had that C4, that plant would not have gone down, and NIP would have been in shambles. But Gio decided he doesn't have a C4. He goes up next to White Van. He goes prone and tries to shoot the feet of the planter, and it almost worked. But I believe it was, I can't remember which of the NIP players it was, maybe Muzi, playing above on the top floor, looking through the holes below, and that was just so good from NIP.
So gentlemen, for what we've seen so far in map number 1, is it going to be the aggressive Brazilians or TSM?
Oh man, it's looking like you said, NIP looking prepared.
Honestly, to be truthful, we're calling NIP the aggressive team, but NIP have been shutting down the aggression from TSM, and on the attacks, they're playing really structured, really slow, and playing for the execute. So this is not the NIP we've been seeing for most of this tournament.
And that's what shocked me most. Whenever I saw the mute being banned, I was saying, okay, there's gonna be a lot of intel on the board. And NIP, they look more organized than ever. Honestly, I've never seen NIP this good before in my life.
I think, honestly, both teams played very slow and steady on defense and attack. So it was interesting to see that the aggression we expect and know from both of these teams was in the game here. It's almost like they know each other do that, so they were just looking instead for advantageous angles, good intel, and just slow and steady at all times. And honestly, a lot of good teamwork is why those pinches worked.
And I just want to point out that TSM throughout this tournament have been the team that has been giving credit to NIP.
Okay.
Ever since in the quarterfinals, TSM eliminated NIP, they said, yeah, we're going to face NIP again later, whether that's the grand final or in the lower bracket, because NIP is going to storm through the lower bracket. Well, it turns out that Bagel, who told me that, he was right. But finally, NIP are starting to figure out TSM.
Yes! Jazzman, your hat is beautiful. I love it. But ladies and gentlemen, map number 2 is about to be underway. Brazil is one more map away from the grand finals. Stokes and Blue, take it away.
Thank you so much, Valley. Ladies and gentlemen, it's TSM. It is NIP. It's going to be Clubhouse. Let's make some noise for these teams. Let's get right into it.
Map number 2 is now well underway, folks, and in Clubhouse, we shall go for the fight. TSM after working their way through the upper bracket for so long, is now up against the wall, facing possible elimination in 3rd place at SI 2020. Certainly not the result they expected themselves to have going into yesterday's initial matchup that they had here in the arena. The ban phase is getting started. We've got Thatcher getting knocked out. That's been relative mainstay for attacker bans so far in Clubhouse at this tournament. The second one we should expect to come in a moment. See this, let's see. Knockout is going to be on the Thermite as well. So both teams doubling down on trying to eliminate any potential hatch opening pressure, along with wall opening pressure that'll come from the 2 upstairs sites.
Yep, that's exactly what I was just about to talk about. Getting rid of that Thermite, making it to where the wall upstairs is going to be a lot more difficult to get for CCTV. Thermite is one of the mainstay operators when it comes to hard breach. He has the fastest timer out of all of the hard breach operators that are currently in the game. The X-Kairos being the slowest, and obviously we have the Torch of Maverick, but obviously it's not a charge, so it doesn't really count. But we're going to have Mira also get shot into the sun. Let's see who the last defensive operator is going to be. It's going to be Goyo, which honestly, I kind of expected.
Yeah, Goyo's been a massive utility sink for the attackers and just something that's very annoying to deal with, given that you have to try and drone them out, find out which ones are actually the Goyo shields and which ones are just standard shields, and then pace your attack based around that. A lot of teams just not wanting to deal with that, so we are going to see him banned out as the final operator to be eliminated. Basement, once again, is going to be our initial site to start off. TSM getting this defensive start, and that may be the slight advantage they need to try and take control of this map. Remember, Clubhouse is a very, very, very defender-sided map in most people's opinions. But at the same time, you have to consider that the last map was won almost entirely on the merits of attacking teams alone.
Well, our TSM party over here is getting overtaken by the Brazilians, as you guys can hear. But now the rest of the crowd's joining in for the TSM chants. As you were saying, TSM is starting off the defense, but they need to set tone here, Blue. This is the issue. In that last map, they were never truly able to get things strung together, all except for that burst of 4 rounds. After that, it was NIP all the way. Almost every single round was either tight or all in favor of Ninjas in Pyjamas. When it came down to it, it was really only their errors that allowed TSM to try and even get back in. They were just lights out when it came to that offensive side. But now TSM is setting up for this defense on Clubhouse. Remember, these 2 teams have squared off before in this tournament. TSM was the people who sent Ninjas in Pyjamas into the lower bracket, and now they're down a map to them.
TSM will certainly not want to fall to the very team that they knocked out. For NIP, they want revenge and a chance at the hammer. They're hungry for it and looking good as well coming off the last map. TSM certainly has to be somewhat scared of what could be happening on the opening salvo of this map's rounds if NIP is able to continue their success from map number 1 into Clubhouse. Certainly a very tough task indeed, not an easy task. We will find out just how well they'll be able to thrive in it. A lot of counterplay still to be played out here by TSM though, as we're only 40 seconds into the round. We just quickly have NIP working their way through and droning out the majority of the 1st and 2nd floor to make sure we don't have any roam presence being established by TSM. That is indeed the case for this round.
Good droning here from NIP. Already have presence on main stairs. Psycho trying to work his way down. Looks like he's looking for a goon mine. So the rest of the squad is getting rid of default cameras and working on hatches. It's going to be a turtle setup here for TSM. Not going to be as potent as it could possibly be with Goyo being banned, but still going to have plenty of denial in almost every single one of their operators.
Pino working his own drone forward is going to find out the position of Bolo. Actually playing right into the angle that Pino's in right now. He's got to be careful. It's more than likely Bolo would end up with a superior angle if this fight ended up going the distance. Let's see that happen, at least for the time being. Hatch play opened up to the inside of Moto here for Kamikaze, but the same thing is true. They don't want to risk the push just yet. They have not been able to get easy access to the angle on the kitchen hatch. In fact, they have no real easy way to deal. Oh, look at this lineup right here. Does he realize it's a player? He's trying to figure it out. Yes, he does. Pino finds that opener against Bolo as he overexposes himself.
Don't get caught slipping, achieved. Oh, that's a lot of damage going towards the defense again. Bolo complacent. Muzi gets another. That's Gio. Finally, TSM guns come alive. Take down Julio.
He's gonna be the man with the torch. No more hard destruction through that wall unless Kamikaze has something to say about it. Ninjas in Pyjamas still has plenty of verticality going on, but now here's the issue. These holes have been established inside of the church wall, and obviously they work both ways. Bullets can travel through no matter which angle you're shooting from. So NIP is gonna try and just attack through Moto instead. The wall's electrified right now, and they have no way to get rid of that, so they're gonna have to just try and flood.
Gonna try and keep this angle once again. Oh, and Pino this time comes out successful. Will he carry the team through yet another round? Time is getting low. Merc and Pojo able to trade this back, and Pino panics, has to fall back to the inside of Moto. There's no time for a retreat. Psycho's got to make this push happen. Pino finds his third, though, succeeds in getting it. Is there enough time to start the defuse? But oh no, here we go. The Yokai drone, will they stop it? No! TSM gets the interrupt off on the Yokai drone, and they claim round number 1.
So very unfortunate for Ninjas in Pyjamas, but a good start for TSM. Remember, they need to set pace here on this defense. If they don't get at least 4 rounds, you can count it as a failed defensive half here on Clubhouse. Overall, though, very good attack from Ninjas in Pyjamas. Got that early pressure, knew the sections of the map that they wanted, and handled it very, very gracefully.
Seeing the TSM fans continue to spar in the arena here with the fans of NIP as well. Going to keep them encouraged, more importantly, enthusiastic for this matchup. You guys have been doing an excellent job once again. Pino will take a look at his find here real quick as well. Takes out Pojo Man, just barely has that angle on the corner. You can see he had to go well deep into the Electric Claw in order for that to work out. Bolo's certainly happy that the clutch comes through and that Yokai drone is a success. I'm surprised that we didn't actually see one of the last players from NIP catch that and walked right into the face of the player sitting on the attack with the team, but just not able to isolate it out quickly enough, and it gets to the ceiling, enabling that interruption. Once it goes off, that's the end of the round. TSM take it as there's no time left for the plant.
Yeah, isolation is not fun. Those are those instances where you have 1 to 2 people combating on your angles and you can't really do anything about it. Very hard to battle out of. You make one misstep and somebody's got your head in their crosshairs. But the issue is now for Ninjas in Pyjamas, no IQ on the board. And not only do we have Bolo with the Bandit batteries, but we also have Geo and Poj as well, both rocking some very important utility. You can even throw Achieved in there if you want to with those Valk camps.
Kamikaze gonna open up a top right angle into the garage to allow the team to have some angle play and potentially catch the catwalk player from the defense if he or she missteps. Also allows them to take out the default cam without anyone getting spotted, I believe, although maybe a little short for that, yeah. More than likely not going to allow them to have that capability. Julian, meanwhile, took a pretty large amount of damage here. He's down to under 25 HP already, but he did get the job done of opening up the outer wall. Now opening that potential for crossplay here on NAP, and more importantly, giving them a direct angle into the site. So much so that they may no longer need to clear out the catwalk position. Still going to be something that they will more than likely try to do, however, as it just makes the attack that much more secure.
This entire setup for TSM right now is all on Merc's shoulders. He needs to hold down garage. That's why they have that garage wall electrified that you guys can see. They put it under the floor so you'd have to handle it from down low, but he's playing it out well until he peeks right into Pino's sights with a nice flick. Pino removes his head for him. Merc's gonna have to sit there and think about that one until the end of the round. But now drone's hot for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Actually find themselves a roamer. Geo trying to pull the Laxing special here inside of Strip.
Saw how well that was used by Laxing earlier on in the event. Back in the group stage where he was able to find some crazy angles to play off of here and catch members of NIP, well, not NIP necessarily, catch members of their opponent's squad completely unawares. A little gloat there from Julio as he works his way forward, and now he'll have to be very careful about how he opens the holes in this wall just due to his low HP. Can't get too close to it, it'll tick down even further from his already very, very low health of around 20 to 25 there. More openings gonna work out though. The Zofia popping open one of the soft walls, potentially exposing another member of TSM from this defense back in cash. Oh no, though, Psycho, missed the angle, but as he crosses in, Bolo is gonna be able to strike. Finds that first drop against Muzi. Psycho's forward position though works out well, but now he's got to capitalize upon it, finding the other players on the inside of Cash. He can't get it done. The rotate comes back from Geo to the inside of Cash. He's going to be able to take out Psycho. It's now up to Pino primarily. Kamikaze getting very low as well, but he comes out on top of his fight. The flash in, Pino finds himself a second. That's gonna be Bolo left alone. Keep in mind, another player here for NIP down on the ground right now. TSM trying to hold on to this time is once again going to be at a very, very low time situation. And Bolo, the lineup, as the remaining NIP players have no choice but to funnel in, and Bolo rips them all to shreds, giving TSM a second round.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's, as North America calls it, a good night. What a shot. What a lineup there for Bolo. Very unfortunate for NIP that the Ash was looking the wrong way, stunned the window, full stunned Bolo, and he was still able to stay alive inside of CCTV. Some amazing stuff here as TSM gets their first 2 rounds. That was looking almost impossible for Bolo here. Here's the replay, folks, of this entire round. More than likely going to see that flashback once again. Truly, truly incredible that he got out of that situation.
TSM getting themselves off to a booming start here. It's off of quite a few mistakes being made from NIP. Psycho, for instance, getting that forward position, but he had missed a rotate for the player in cash just seconds before, where he might have been able to capitalize himself a second kill and prevent that late round play to begin with, as it was Bolo that he had an angle on. The drone presence here in the early round is just not as strong as we saw it on Consulate in the previous map. That's something that we need to see NIP improve upon very quickly here, or face the consequences of TSM running a massive lead here. At the same time, the game has been streaky for both teams, so not too much of a different situation from what they've already faced.
Master setup here for TSM. We'll see what their take is on that. Still gonna be rocking the Legion, but it's gonna be tossed on over to Merc instead this time. Last time on the Jaeger for their CCTV hold. Didn't work out too well for him inside of Garage, so gonna try and reset when it comes to this round. Ninjas in Pyjamas needs to prioritize things correctly though. Which wall are they going to go for first? Well, usually on this site, you're gonna see teams prioritize the jacuzzi wall, which is what Julio is going to right now. Once you get that open, you have 2 choices. Do you wanna try and get some pressure into the bathroom, or do you wanna try and fight through weights as well as the hallway? Usually you're also going to want somebody working the logistics hatch, as we see Pino go and start that right now.
Another stat coming in here. TSM apparently has an 83% win rate when running ACOG defenders on Clubhouse, but only a 50% win rate without. Very interesting.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe the ACOG is a balancing tool. Maybe I'm just lying to myself. Maybe Bikini is right. I'm still not gonna give it up though. Ash deserves it. Just give it back to me. Just my account specifically. That's all I want it for. X-Kairos though still for Kamikaze, so he can get something done to bathroom. But the issue is that we do have Pyjamas currently sitting inside of there with an Electro Claw still in his pocket to be able to use on that wall. Do the Electro Shuffle if he does still have the other Electro Claw. But actually we saw that shot earlier on after Pino had identified it through the wall, pinged it for Julio, and he was able to find it there at the top of Jacuzzi.
Julio working his way forward, of course, being very careful, again, of the potential swings from TSM. Could come from either the gym area. Obviously, this bathroom angle is a position too. They don't know if there's any bullet holes they might have made that just not have been that visible from the angle that they had. They've also got to worry about the logistics player who can try to swing on them too. Pino starts us off with the opening frag. He's going to be able to take down Achieved. And more importantly, that's the Bandit going down. More capability. To be fair, it's not really relevant at this point in the round, but no more easy capability to try and trick out any of these walls.
Ninjas in Pyjamas very slow moving right now, and that's the power of the Thatcher Band on Clubhouse. This map takes a lot to get an offense to go through, but as we've seen throughout this tournament, a lot of teams can do it. Ninjas in Pyjamas being one as well. Spino's getting aggressive, but didn't use his IQ scanner to see the goo mine. Gonna get Pojo anyways. Pre-fires with that G8A1. Has got so many bullets, but not enough to kill Geo. Kamikaze and the rest of the squad trying to funnel in. Gonna pick up Maverick, but TSM's all over the situation. Very low HP though for TSM. This could be a possible comeback here from Ninjas in Pyjamas, but Julio's also on 20 HP as well. A pre-fire that Psycho finds. Beggs and Geo knocks it down on the 2v2, but they still need to get this diffuser down. That's in Psycho's hands. He needs some space, and he'll create said space, pushing him to the double kill. But it's gonna be an immediate trade. Julio. Let's get that correct.
speak the man's name proper, Julio with a hip fire kill.
Julio, a quick closeout, of course, in a very low time situation, but still a lot of problems for them. So Bob is going to call for the timeout right now in order to figure out what's going wrong. Like I said, drone presence is not as well established as it has been in previous rounds. Flank watch also becoming an issue for them too, just in that round, as we saw TSM have the late rotate up through main stairs that went completely unnoticed. Caught them off guard. This on top of a bit of a mixed bag on actual executes is making it so far not a great opener for NIP, at least compared to the attack we saw on Consulate. Clubhouse, of course, proving itself to be a very different beast in that regard. But still, definitely a different game plan being brought out right now from NIP, and they do need to try and adjust it a little bit here, as TSM is thriving in their own passive play by waiting this out.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. But Ninjas in Pyjamas, last offense, went decently well, but as you said, Bob just needs to fix some things, go over the situation. It was very close when it came down to it. Wants this to be a more dominant set on this offense, and Ninjas in Pyjamas is definitely good for it if they can get to the proper mindset. Again, guys, this is a very emotional time. We're on the last day of the Six Invitational. It's that day where everyone loses their voice, including us, John.
Yeah.
Everybody. Everyone here for a good time and some good damn siege.
Important thing to note, that's a very early pause also being called from NIP. They're only allotted that single pause for the entire map. So if they run into issues or continue to have issues later on, either in this half or the next, they will not be able to call for it again. But only have to hope that TSM would use one of their own, that they could kind of use the time from that. And that's more than likely not going to happen here in Siege. Other games might get it, but not going to be the case here. So we head back into the map once again, back downstairs into the basement, as TSM has completed their runaround of the basement and 2 upstairs sites, and are now going to redo it for their final 3 rounds.
Well, no castle barricades for TSM, but it does still look like we're going to have a roam setup. Achieved and Bolo, 2 very important operators when it comes to roaming on this map. Need to try and deny as much intel as possible to delay the offense. These barricades will also help for sound cues, as well as just line of sight cuts throughout the map.
Speaking of line of sight, Gio opening up a rotate between the bar stage, along with his position currently on the inside of Stock. Might have that potential to rotate away, play against the bar attack from NIP when they start to move in and take control for their initial take. Now remember, again, do not have access to Thatcher right now, so getting open the hatches along with even the normal walls here is not going to be the easiest task in the world. If memory serves me correctly, we did not have NIP bringing the Maverick to the table on the first attempt at this, so this is hopefully going to open up a little bit more play potential on those hatches and at least guarantee their openings. Gumine going to get spotted by the drone on the way down. That was that little holographic flare that they saw as they worked their way in. They'll quickly shoot that out and take control of the tunnel. Now sitting right on the outside of the site. It's very early control over to NIP. That's a free one as well, walking right in. What is this? Hojo Man doesn't realize that they've lost the control because of the fact they hit the Gumine, and oh no! Pino with another lineup moves, he won't get the kill. Here comes the rotate though, and it's caught off this time. NIP taking full control right from the start, and TSM doesn't even know what happened.
What a call from Ninjas in Pyjamas inside of this round. TSM was all set up on the eastern side of the map for that roam setup. They had achieved upstairs inside of the catwalk of Garage. Geo downstairs inside of Stock, as well as another member upstairs inside of Cash. Ninjas in Pyjamas, a flawless round after a well-timed execution.
And a very large misstep from TSM to leave it so undefended so early on in the round. The walk-in is so straightforward from TSM. Just open up the crawl corner for their Maverick in order to move in with 1 additional player. Knock out the Gumine so they don't get noticed. No one else is the wiser as they approach the gate to the door. A quick drone to check for it, and they see there's a player on drone. Here you go once again. Pino walks in, and his first kill's for free.
Overall, very low utility execute here from Ninjas in Pyjamas. All they had to do was get the buck inside of dirt and then go for the push down blue. They completely circumnavigated all of TSM's roam game. All of it. They had 2 people upstairs, Cash inside of, and as well as inside of Garage, inside of the catwalk, and then Geo inside of this stock area. They went right into blue stairwell, hopped the window, and sprinted down blue to make that pinch happen for Armory. So again, they circumnavigated the entire setup that TSM was trying to throw their way. This is a great offensive side right now for Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Such a simple solution at the end of the day for NIP. And it's now set them up a tie once again, 2-2 between both of the teams. It looks like we may be going the distance on this second map, same way we did on Consulate, as right now we are following the same exact score trend from that previous map.
I'm sorry, guys. I forgot. Are we at a LAN? I don't hear anything. Guys, are you guys awake? Are you guys awake? Are you guys awake? Let's party, come on. Let's get loud, it's the last day. Lose those voices, just like mine's going away.
It's all right, our job's almost done here for the day. See NIP start their approach, obviously going up against the Cash attack this time. We'll start to posture up, setting claymores and the rest of their utility to prevent any runouts from the Garage, while still trying to posture up some of their own aggression. Trying to be a little bit cautious of a Valve cam that may have been tucked out by Achieve. Try to spot it out real quick, but not going to be able to find it. Nitro Cell's a little scary. Damage can bleed through if it's appropriately positioned. So Julio trying to be cautious of that so as not to lose himself and their only capability to realistically get this wall open.
You're absolutely kidding me. If they soft-wall this, they're going to blow the Nitro Cell and either try and run out or try and take gunfights. That's exactly what this is for. Right when this wall is soft, after Maverick completes his work, that Nitro Cell is going to get blown unless you're able to shoot it right here. No, he gets the kill. Oh, Bolo, what a setup. That was a million IQ. A million IQ.
Such a great job being set up by Bolo and the rest of TSM. We still see the wall opened up ultimately at the end of the day, though, and that's the reason why the C4 is a success as well. Damage bleeds through, knocks out the position from Julio. Unfortunately, just done a little bit too late as the job is done right before the explosion occurs. Pino now going to open up Stock's entryway and allow for his team to push in through this avenue. Won't be the only one doing so either. We've got a few more players on NIP going to move in, not from Stocks, but over to the inside of the Garage. Or to take control there, set up a bit more of a pinch now that they know taking control over on the catwalk, or excuse me, on the balcony. It's not going to be the easiest thing in the world either.
Oh, Merc!
These are going to burn back the player sitting in the corner here. Merc goes down into an eliminated state. It's going to be confirmed in just a second by Psycho. That's NIP with control of the catwalk. The execute can't be far away.
No, it cannot, my friend. Do still have 2 smoke arrows on Psycho. Looks like the gentleman that's currently inside of the Garage with him has the diffuser as well, so they can go for default here. They're going to have to worry about a lot of utility still to be burned from TSM. Bolo, that's a good start, but it's going to be an immediate trade here from Pojo Pino to take down Achieved as well in the 2v3 as TSM. Poj not very much health either. The real question is how many toxic babes does he have left to try and delay? We're under 30 seconds. He has 0. He's just another guy with a gun, but he's going to continue to gun here. Pushes it to the double. Kamikaze and Muzi have to try and get this diffuser down now, and that's what they're going to be starting on. But where is Geometrics? This is when you need that Alda. This is when you need all that ammo to work out. First shot, can he get the second? He can't. It's down to 1v1 with very low HP on both players. No marks to be found here. They think they have the intel. He's getting aggro down into the 0-0 mark. Does he know where he is though? Oh, the immediate gunfight, but he doesn't win it! NIP and Kamikaze all over the situation.
NIP doing fantastic work in that round yet again. Just working their way down a checklist, not bothering too much to clear out the extra roam game over in construction and downstairs. That's handled pretty early on by their drone work, along with the early opening of the balcony wall. Restricts the rotation presence for the remaining players over on... Hello there.
Oh, hi.
Restricts the rotation presence for the remaining players, and from that point forward, they shut down the round. Look at this beautiful stadium we've got, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise here.
I think the only thing that's beautiful here is you, John. That's it. That's all. You look snazzy today, man.
So much.
Did you guys look at his shoes? Guys, can we get the camera on his shoes? Have you seen these things? God bless.
We don't need to do that.
Are you sure?
If they want to, they can.
Get the king snakes out, man. Get the king snakes out. Geo, though, Fantastic backbone when it came down to it. Great grit from TSM to fight till the end, but Kamikaze just had a better angle when it came down to it. Very aggressive play overall, and Ninjas in Pyjamas able to bring that one back from what seemingly looked like Pojo was going to be able to win that entire round for TSM.
Not the case. NIP takes it, and they're hype about it as well. They know that they just won the half, essentially, by guaranteeing themselves a 3-3 scoreline. That's going to be a lot of confidence for them moving into the second half, regardless of what the outcome of this final round is. For TSM, they'll choose not to work their way over towards gym and bedroom to reattempt that one more time, and instead are going to work their way down into the basement, thinking that that last round that was won by NAP was a bit of a fluke. They may be right on that. It's a very easily correctable mistake. Just don't be on your cameras that early on in that pivotal of a position.
Just don't get intel, Forehead. That's all. Just, you know, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Who needs intel when you can just shoot, you know? Just take the gunfight, just face check it. This is all highly unadvised, by the way. Do not do that. That is not okay. You will more than likely die, but it does look like it's going to be a very similar setup. Yes, exactly. So Julio gonna cut a hole inside of the dirt tunnel here. That way they can get some pressure on that door once again. But Ninjas in Pyjamas is going for what seems like a full clear this time. Gonna get the single panel to the outside inside of construction. See some rotates into Logi as well. So now they know that there has to be somebody up here.
Yeah, the problem is if they attempt the same thing again, TSM are going to be directly on top of that, moving away from that potential. Another stat coming in for folks at Siege GG. Bolo currently has 20 kills for TSM in this series, by far the greatest out of his team, with the next closest teammate only having 10. Maybe a little bit closer now, however, as Achieve finds the first pickup on this round, eliminating the IQ played by Muzi. Duck here from Pino. He's going to send that nade soaring in. No real damage done, however, to Achieve. He stays alive, but Pino finally catches him over at the CCTV window. A lineup from Kamikaze does some great damage on the Bolo as well, but no confirmed just yet. He's only at half HP.
Oh, also the Monty from Psycho. Haven't seen him be too impactful just yet on the round. So let's see if we can adjust that. Minute and 18 seconds left on the clock for Ninjas in Pyjamas to get this offense moving. Try and get this execute, but they're still worried about a roamer upstairs, and they should be. They finally get some vision. That's Merc all the way up top with that SMG-11, a gun you really don't want to tango with. Very high rate of fire, good damage margin as well. The only downfall, low mag capacity. He's running right into another member as Monty pushes his way up the staircase. Merc tries to flee, but Pino's there to catch him.
Pino has been doing great work for NIP in this series. He continues to do so. I mean, look at him. Just within the first half here.
Oh my God.
14-3 overall. A huge player for NIP in this series right now. And was the case going back even to our first map as well. Not one of those initial 4Ks that we had go 3 in a row in the first round. There's the drop from Psycho. He's going to move in, start taking control of the arsenal. He's not alone. More support going to be working its way out from the tunnel, trying to spam, and he does have support from Julio. The Montaigne's still alive, but trades are going back and forth. Kamikaze, in the meanwhile, looking to put down the plant, and Julio stops the pivotal rotate. Smoke gas grenade going to implode, but it won't even matter. NIP has too much control, and for TSM, potentially too many rounds on this attacking side. They end the first half 4-2 for NIP's favor.
And that is the power of the shield play. Fantastic Monty play there from Ninjas in Pyjamas. Put him on the forefront of the battle, and he worked in every single instance, getting rid of roamers, getting rid of site pressure, helping to put a diffuser down. Such impressive play from them. Achieved with that first nice kill, but then it was all downhill for TSM inside of this round. Just not able to deal with that pressure.
Oh, this time.
Oh my. Achieved just got very unlucky there with a couple of hip-fire bullets before he could get that line of sight dealt with. But overall, it was Ninjas in Pyjamas all over everything. TSM could just not get that retake to go through.
That's the same thing that was causing problems for TSM back in map number 1 as well, which is the setups far too secure for NIP. TSM essentially just walking into crosshair after crosshair. From every member of NIP supporting their team, cutting off the rotates, and stopping TSM from being able to do really anything at all without having to take a gunfight in the process.
I was terrified for TSM going into this matchup because we saw yesterday against Space Station Gaming that even in those very, very important moments, sometimes they switch up in how they play and they just don't trust what's going on. when it comes down to it. Sometimes playing scared or whatever have you. But with Ninjas in Pyjamas, they have not changed how they play things with any team. They either play very methodical, that works really well, they check all the boxes, cross all their T's, dot all their I's, or they play fast and go for those gunfights, and either way works for them. They worry about them instead of worrying about the opponent, and it's been working for them this entire lower bracket.
NIP has been doing fantastic work, just chewing their way through all the competition in the lower bracket. It'll truly be a comeback story for NIP if they do end up making this full climb up to 7 rounds and into the grand finals, as they'll have had to fight through so much of the entire upper bracket just to make it to this point. Truly a feat that deserves respect from the community. Merc starting us off here over on Jacuzzi Balcony. He's gonna try and open up the walls. Has a few more panels, I think, to deal with here before he ends up soft-walling this and allowing the Sophia to pave a path, or at least the button, excuse me.
It's always the edge piece. It's always some little pixel that's holding on the right hand or left hand side of that. So I'm gonna get rid of that real quick as TSM's taking control of Jacuzzi, starting top down. Psycho's going to abandon ship very quickly. As frag grenades now start to pour in, making sure that there's no ADS, but Bolo's gonna burn a nade anyways.
Drone ready. Drone has been shut down. Once again, trying to clear this out. They do have that jammer in the way, which is going to cause problems for the clear. They've been able to work its path over towards logistics and into construction. So they do know that for the most part, with the exception of the deeper bedroom positions, this is going to be all clear for them, and they won't have to worry about too much coming from the upstairs, at least not this half of the second floor.
TSM making pretty good time right now, minute 10 seconds. Still need to get some pressure inside the kitchen. Nitro Cell goes off, almost kills Bolo if he was a little bit closer to that, but he's gonna get in a gunfight downstairs. Julio holding the angle for Moto. Worried about some pressure in the hallway, but NIP has that covered. Still Muzi inside of blue as well. Multiple lineups here from NIP. Always working these supporting angles. That's something that they're so very good at, and they've shown that throughout the entire tournament. They can not only move fast, but they can support each other in every step along the way.
Work with the drone to work its way probably in towards Moto in a second, and Gio, the hard angle being held against the player. I believe it's Muzi, waiting at the bottom behind the big blue box. Merc now in through Moto Hatch itself. Taking that first bit of control. This will be a very late execute for TSM. They normally move in with a lot more excess time so they can take their time and work the site kill by kill. This is gonna have to be an all-in play for them. A slight engagement goes out between Bolo and Pino, but at the end of the day, Bolo will win it out. He'll find a second one as well. Julio's holding the line for Moto, but the rest of the defense is faltering. Bolo now with 3 as he finds himself yet another pickup. Gio makes it 4. Julio, the only one that successfully holds his angle, but is now also the only one still standing. 38 seconds to try and pull off this full-on 1v5 clutch. There's the second from Julio. He's well on the way, tries to go for the pre-fire against the potential rotate from Arsenal. Back to the inside of blue, but he mistimes it. Gio finds his second as Bolo claims 3, and TSM take finally another round for themselves at the beginning of the second half.
Low time execute from TSM that ends up working out, all thanks to that man right there. Bolo, Jason, the man doing it right with that triple kill, able to open up the site for TSM. Extremely impressive play from TSM in that last round overall. Got a little scary as that timer continued to tick down, as it seemed like Ninjas in Pyjamas had everything going in their favor. Crowd now in a fight to see who they want to see win as TSM starting to come back, but they're gonna need one more round to do so to tie this up.
Take a look at those initiations that Bolo was able to take for himself towards the end of the round. And actually, it's now that we see it from his perspective, it's really faults on NIP for that one. Not even necessarily the success from Bolo. Props to him, of course, but NIP just getting far too aggressive on that defense, trying to swing against the attack, waiting to catch someone in mid-sprint, but mistiming every single try at that.
That's the issue that can arise with Ninjas in Pyjamas playstyle. They always play for those refrags, but if the guns aren't hot for that round, then somebody gets a triple kill holding the same angle. Remember, these are some of the best professional players in the entire world, so one misstep inside of a gunfight means that your head has been removed for good.
MIP seemingly realizing their mistakes from the previous round. I do think they have what it takes to get a round for themselves on this site on the second attempt. We'll see if that holds true. Julio on the castle once again. He's actually going to cordon off quite a bit of the bar area to prevent any play coming from the inside of Strip. And I think potentially to open up some roaming potential in the early round for NIP here as well. It's not something you are normally able to very easily do on this map. Due to one, how claustrophobic some parts of it can be. And two, how easily those rotates can be cut off by the attacking squadron.
Well, you say that, but SSG is one of the best in the business at that. This is a setup that looks quite similar to SSG's. Those castle barricades helping with breaking those lines of sight and allowing roamers to be able to rotate through bar and drop back down to sight unless TSM chooses to deal with them. But the beauty of that is TSM should know what they're doing when it comes to dealing with this setup. They're starting with Jacuzzi, gonna have a drone scroll across the entire area of the map up top with Bolo in tow to try and get these initial kills.
Successfully dodging that pest keeps their drone in check, prevents them from having to self-sacrifice it to deny intel for the players over on NIP right now. As you said before, good progress being made in the early rounds, going for the top-down clear. TSM are right on schedule for where we'd expect a normal team of the stature to be right now. They're going to soon follow it through with more of a clear downstairs as well. That road play never really coming out for NIP, however. Pino looked like he wanted to try and swing up to take stocks control a couple seconds ago, but once again, droned out by TSM. That no longer being a possibility. He'll have to go back downstairs and rely on NIP's turtle setup to get them a win here.
And for NIP, it was a shell setup upstairs. They set up everything for that roam, then immediately fell back. So TSM's gonna waste quite a bit of time on that, trying to go for that roam clear, but they had to respect it, because if you don't, you die. So all of that information now leads them to believe that everyone is downstairs. They would be correct about that. All down to NIP's turtle to try and solve this offensive push here from TSM. Getting plenty of verticality going on with these breaching charges, as well as that skeleton key in Bolo's hands instead of Chief's.
40 seconds remaining for TSM to commit to their execute. Once again, maybe trying to go for something with the low timer. Bolo chucking his own drone down on the ground, but not going to be using it this early on. He may try to use that later on and just pre-place it here to catch any rotates that may come out from NIP in the late round. Utility from TSM, for the most part, has now been expended, but it's not giving them the room they need. No one on NIP panicking right now, and oh, even worse, a misread from Geo. That's Boozy, gets that pick up for free. Bolo, one of the few shining lights here for TSM right now. He's going to be interrupted and then destroyed by a Nitro Cell. NIP just have too much control to work off of right now. Achieve gonna go 1 for 1, but that's it. Kamikaze seals the deal on round number 8 as NIP pick up another one.
What a smart setup here from NIP. Make that ghost setup upstairs. With all of that utility, TSM obviously has to respect it, just like we talked about. And it gets that timer so low where they have to try and make things happen. Ninjas in Pyjamas is ready on every single front. Beautiful Nitro Cell Yokai combo as well to make sure that Bolo could not get that diffuser down.
Take a look at the play from NIP's perspective primarily here. He said Bolo able to clear out a little bit of an angle by knocking out the hatch going down from kitchen, but completely unable to secure the plant. Nowhere near enough control towards blue or even church. Very easy retake for NIP to pull off at the end of the day, as they have angle superiority, and on top of that, win a large majority of the gunfights that occur in the late round. TSM not playing to the tone that we saw them take against SSG yesterday. Just really not leaving themselves enough time to take these sites. An extra 20 or 30 seconds where their players aren't going to feel pressured to take a swing, take a risk on a gunfight. They might win that round, but at the moment, they're not playing into that playstyle. They're trying to take the notes from SSG yesterday, and it's just not fitting them very well at the moment.
I completely agree with you. I think TSM needs to go back to their defaults and play their style. They're playing very slow, as you just said, and TSM thrives inside of that high-octane environment. They need to change things up. Go back to being that aggressive team. You win those gunfights. The issue is right now, though, is, as you said, very passive play coming from TSM and just not really able to make things work on this offense for the time being, and that's the main issue. Ninjas in Pyjamas is on defense, currently up 5-3. They need 1 round to get to match point, and then they are 2 rounds away from facing SSG later today.
Although being careful as he ascends to the roof real quick here. To watch out for anyone who might try to spray back at him from the inside of Cash and CCTV, which is going to be the site of choice for our defensive squad this time. NIP looking to secure round number 6 and match point along with it with this Cash defense. Not send anyone over to reinforce the Jacuzzi balcony, however. So Bolo does work his way in and will quickly be able to knock out this wall, giving the team access.
That is so much damage done to Achieved. He's all the way down to 1 HP. Resets, not really a thing anymore inside of Rainbow Six, sadly. That was adjusted quite a while ago. You only get 20 HP when you get picked back up. It's still gonna be 1 bullet for most guns, so not even worth your time anymore. Merc upside down rappel to torch open the wall. He's gonna take quite a bit of damage from this though. As you can see, it's already ticked quite a bit away. Bolo making sure that there's no pixels up top.
Try to make
get a frag grenade over. Yeah, you always gotta make sure, otherwise the frag grenade bounces back in your face, and that's not a lot of fun.
It's not fun at all. Not only is it wasted utility, but you might kill someone. Careful with those. Bolo still waiting for the lineup to work its way in, as he is holding the angle at the moment, so that his teammates can burn their flashbangs and knock out the ADS. Alibi's utility will be spotted out by Bolo, who'll quickly take care of that, as the deploy point for it is not hidden, so it's an easy shot for him to take to deal with that utility and not confuse the team when Pino could take that position in a couple of moments here. Keep in mind, there's still a lot to be accounted for right now. Geo is going to be incredibly important to TSM's success on this attack on the IQ. They need to make sure he stays alive to spot out those yokai drones if TSM are going to go for a low time to execute. It seems as though they have learned their lesson. They're looking to open up these angles with a good 30-40 seconds left to give them that extra time they need to work their way in. The nade against Pino, not cooked nearly enough. And as a result of that, we'll see him dodge out of the way and avoid all the damage from it. Meantime, he also tries to interrupt the wall breach with his impact grenades. Is slightly successful. He's going to be even more successful now, though, as he takes these gunfights. 2 easy frags for him. The first is just a crouch hop up. The second catches a player walking into his angle. Now is when he'll have a little bit more trouble, though. They know his position. They know he's hiding directly behind this deployable barricade. He's going to have to try and pick his fights wisely. He knows the push is coming. Calls that out for Muzi. He'll shut it down. Julio with another one. Another swing to knock out half the HP. And yeah, we'll see him go down, but it won't even matter as Psycho moves in to finish off the last kill and close out on the round from NIP. They're on match point. They're 1 round away from the grand finals of SI 2020.
TSM not able to make things happen right now. Very, very frustrating. You can see the tag timeout's been taken as Bagel tries to figure out what's going on with his squad. So as they try and settle things between these two, TSM currently staring down the barrel of a loaded gun when it comes to the situation they're in. Bagel earlier in this tournament told most of us in a conversation that Ninjas in Pyjamas was the only team that they were afraid of, and now you know exactly why. The issue is, though, they need to link together 3 rounds on the offense against NIP when they are not playing up to their regular prowess.
NIP so close to success, so close to a win. They do have to wait a couple of moments here before we work our way into the next round, though, as TSM has called for their timeout. It's time for Bagel to give his input and see if he knows exactly what the issue is right now in the TSM attack and whether he can fix it. Time has already expired, however. We had that pause going on for quite some time. The game has resumed. We're getting back into it. It's 6-3 in the favor of NIP. And they sit on the cusp of greatness. If they can move forward and claim the 2nd grand finalist position here at SI.
So for Ninjas in Pyjamas, we're getting a 6 pick. Julio going away from the Bandit, picking up the Clash instead of the Castle, which is what we usually see on this site. Clash, instead of being immobile cover, like Castle barricades would be, she is mobile cover. You can move around with her. Hell, you can even use her as a makeshift mirror window in order to fire off from, as long as obviously your friend in front of you trusts you to shoot bullets over their shoulder. For NIP, though, this is everything. This is for all the marbles to make it to play SSG after the Year 5 panel. TSM, though, after that tactical timeout, have to figure things out for this round. It's going to require a lot of proper utility usage in order to attack this correctly. Again, we don't have Thatcher, we don't have Thermite, and it's all on the Habana and the Maverick to make this work.
time has begun, and TSM has spawned their way out onto the map, and they are up against the wall. This is it. They've got to pick up the wins from this point forward, running 3 rounds in a row. Otherwise, they will be eliminated here, just short of a chance to try and lift the hammer, just short of a spot in the grand finals, and just short of potential revenge against SSG. They do not want to let that match yesterday go unanswered. They want to be the team that claims revenge against SSG, not NIP. And at the same time, NIP has just looked so good in this series. It's going to be a tough ask for them to work their way back into this.
Initial cuts here from TSM, handling Jacuzzi Wall. This is where Julio's going to come into play. He has to try and delay as much as possible throughout this round. He's playing Bathroom right now. They're going to throw an Electro Claw on that just to make things even more complicated for TSM. We've seen quite a few kills to this drone hole angle as well. Pino is currently holding. Or excuse me, that's actually Psycho there instead. But for TSM right now, pretty slow moving offense. They've already got next Kairos is down on the server wall though, so they can try and go for a pinch here or abandon ship on the western side and go towards the east to try and go for a different push if things aren't working out.
Looking for the lineup, hoping we may get a swing from someone on the inside. Trying to limit the potential for fireback as well by using the left side barricade as almost a bit of a reinforcement for himself to use. Kamikaze taking a slight angle right now. Not far enough out yet, excuse me, to be contested by the push from the Jacuzzi Wall, but he is far enough swung to catch someone transitioning through the hallway.
Oh no.
Play from Psycho right now. It's gonna move in, great damage. Good movement from Merc to try and dodge it. We nearly see the trade coming in. Psycho gonna try and take the next fight as he is locked in that engagement. But Pojo Man does successfully pick up the trade, bringing us into a 4v4. It's another one from TSM as well. Bolo picks up the next kill, bringing NIP down to just 3. One of them being Julio here on the clash. Gonna have to be very careful. He's over on his gun right now as he knows they need that firepower. He can't sustain though. Kamikaze finally gets one going for NIP. Pino is completely detached from this situation in the meanwhile. Gonna look to punish things on the execute, on the plan attempt. Do have Diffuser down. Maybe something that they can play into, especially if Pino can successfully rotate up. Get this intel over to the rest of his team. That's really the only thing holding back TSM. And it can't hold them back for much longer as they've only got 15 seconds left. Here comes the push. Pino's ready to hold the line. Is he ready for the rotate from Logi though? That's the next question. Yes, he is! He finds the Bolo frag, and Kamikaze is ready for the final push. NIP take control of the lower bracket. They claim victory and the second spot in the grand finals of SI 2020.
TSM was just not TSM today. No team solo mid, more like team Bolo mid when it came down to it. Really the only man that had any action going on for him throughout this entire series. But Ninjas in Pyjamas will represent Brazil in this final against SSG later on today. What an impressive game between these two, and especially Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Bob and the rest of NIP hyping up their section of the crowd. You guys are doing great work over there, but it's NIP that takes the crown here in the lower bracket, takes their push working through. We've got the Ninjas in the finals, and we're gonna have to see how well they do against Space Station as Troy once again trying to lift that hammer for a second time. Latin America trying to do it for the first time.
What an amazing series amongst these two. Ninjas in Pyjamas has been running this lower bracket this entire time. TSM originally putting them down there, and they finally get the revenge. It has to feel so damn good to have this. But that's gonna be enough from me and John. Let's send it on down to Anna to see what we have to say.
Thanks, guys. Now, you have just put up an impressive performance against TSM. What was different this time? How were you able to come across so strong now?
Like last game against TSM, the first one, I think we just played bad, you know. We didn't show up, so we knew we have everything to win against them, and we changed some things, we countered them, a lot of things, you know, and just like that.
And now you will go forward to face Space Station Gaming in the finals. What will you need to do to win against that team?
Like, Space Station is one of the best teams in the world right now. They lost like one map in the whole tournament, but like we are ready, you know. We scream them, we know what they're gonna do. We have a lot of odds. We studied them a lot yesterday, and we're gonna crush it.
You've been speaking a lot to your fans. Do you have one last thing to say to them before you go to the finals?
I wanna thank again everyone on live streams, everyone here, thank you. These guys, they're awesome. And let's go Brazil, vamos porra!
Thank you so much. Congratulations again, Julio. Back to you at the desk.
How can you not love them? Brazil found their way into the championship game. TSM fell short.
It really came down to Ninjas in Pyjamas. They read it, they prepared. They were not as prepared last time. We knew Bagel was very prepared to deal with Ninjas in Pyjamas in the first place because they were expecting a tough opponent. But Ninjas in Pyjamas not only showed being well prepared, they also adapted and brought out a lot of pocket strategies, a lot of really smart counterplays to leave TSM really looking ineffective on this map.
Yeah. I think that one of the things everyone's been looking at for NIP this entire event is their ability to champion specific players, make those hero moves, and just win unwinnable situations. That said, NIP this time around in the rematch, that's not all that they have. They studied TSM, they knew exactly what they were getting into, they got a much better map veto, they fixed all their mistakes on Consulate, and they took it in an 8-6 instead of losing 7-8. And Clubhouse, man, let me tell you, that was the right map to pick this time around.
Don't even start with Clubhouse, man. Watching TSM face off against NIP, they fell flat. What we've seen from this team, from the Pro League in Montreal, it wasn't reminiscent of what we saw today. Merc wasn't the Merc we were used to. TSM, I expect them to be better next time, but this time around, it's all about NIP.
Yeah, I mean, and absolutely, and I want to highlight two players we hadn't seen a whole lot of during the tournament from NIP, Pino and Kamikaze, especially Kamikaze. He's been struggling all tournament. Those two coming alive, and actually the two bottom-rated players, Muzi and Julio. Like, that's not what you expect, but it's when those players step up to get their way to the grand finals, it's really scary for SSG, because if that whole team shows up like that in that regard again, it's going to be a hell of a battle.
So, if we have to talk about an MVP this game, outright, it has to go to the one and only Pino. Pino was absolutely unstoppable. As a matter of fact, by the time we reached round number 7, he was 14-4. He had more kills than everybody on TSM.
And just have a look at his entries as well. He was always in the door, always ready on the roam as well, and confident in his gunfights. This particular round on Consulate that we saw, he went absolutely massive. One of the very first rounds, and he got a 4K. Roaming downstairs, rotating up, playing an anchor position, then his player on yellow stairs was killed, so he refilled that position. It was just so well played for Pino.
Yeah, keep in mind as well, Pino was a player that got bumped off the team temporarily, and then managed to make his way back once they realized it wasn't working out. And obviously that was the right move here. He proved that today.
It was the minus laxing plus laxing move for NIP.
Yeah, right.
They made their way to the finals. So, when was the last time you've seen a Brazilian team this good before?
I mean, obviously you got to go back to Atlantic City in terms of that was when they took the win.
How long ago was that?
Far too long, obviously, for Latin America. They've been sitting on this for a while. We've seen teams like FaZe make their way up pretty well in these. I don't think everyone expected, well, a lot of teams did, maybe, but NIP to be the ones to be championing LATAM all the way up here, because you had the big favorites like FaZe and LATAM go way too early.
We're going to have to give respect to Latin America as a whole, but also NIP. Let's be honest. The favorites were Liquid. We all thought MIBR was going to do well. Everybody counted NIP out. But now, they have a chance to be world champions here. But, outright, general discussion, what really stood out to you most in this matchup? Because it was extremely lopsided.
It was really just the smart plays. You saw good examples of that with the pocket starts, like pulling out the Maverick, just cutting open a small hole quietly inside the dirt connector, moving their way in while they flanked blue, just looking for those holes and those opportunities that they were prepared to take advantage of every single time, just exploiting TSM, playing a little too passive, and also slow on those attacks, really burning back against them.
All right, I think the proof was in the Clubhouse attacks. That's really where we saw NIP step up, because usually that's going to be looking at a 78% win rate for the defenders from the group stage SI on Clubhouse. They turned that on its head.
They're winning attacks. It makes no sense at all. Nothing makes sense anymore.
That's it.
Also, you guys have a Telestrator segment you like to throw up there, right?
And we talked a lot about Ninjas in Pyjamas, but I would be remiss if I didn't highlight the man who stepped up the most he possibly could for his team, Bolo. The rest of his team negative. He was very positive in terms of his rating. Got some great plays from this guy. I mean, this is his last showing for this tournament, so want to get it in there here.
You want to send him off right.
Absolutely, this great play here. His Bandit play. Bandit's an operator we haven't been seeing a ton of. He's playing in a position here with Geo, just trying to hold off against a lot of players pressuring from multiple angles here. He goes for a play here, and he rotates over into server to let Geo hold cash. Geo loses that fight, so Bolo knows what he's got to do. He comes back for another fight here from this angle to be able to fight Pino. And he knows he's got players to his back as well, these players inside Garage. So in doing so, he just waits for the right moment. When he's got the sound cues he needs, throws the C4. And that's the thing is, he throws the C4 to cover his rotate so he can come back around because he knows there's a potential flank coming out from Pino. He makes the rotate around, does it just fast enough around server to get the angle here, and then this slow creep, he just slow crouch walks right on up, waits for Pino to be looking the wrong way, takes advantage of it, but it's these rotates, this game sense, just comes completely all the way around, ready for the next fight, because he knows he's got someone coming in this window over here. Just gets both the kills lined up for him at the end, but it's smart play. Speaking of smart play, this was a great example right here. The C4 kill. Bolo, see him in a position, he's waiting to fight anyone who tries to come through if they try and breach fast, but he's even more prepared for that because he's got his C4s ready. As Stokes was mentioning, he didn't even wait for the soft breach, immediately got the kill the moment that the wall was even marked soft so the explosion would go through. And then lastly, this round here, he's already on low health. You can see Bolo just not doing so great on health-wise, yet he's gonna get just fight after fight on this hallway. First one, he gets a nice kill down there onto Pino, who was the star of the show before, so it was a great start initially. And he just continues to work back and forth on this hallway. He manages to get a second kill. You can see that one here, also in a similar position, all the way on the, there we go, on the shelves on the far side of Arsenal, and then continues to fight it, gets a kill here as well on the rotate. Because he's able to fight that hole the entire time, Pojo Man's able to be completely covered just by one man, Bolo on low health, covering the hallway by himself. It's those kind of star plays that gave TSM a chance here. If the rest of the team had shown up nearly as much as Bolo had, TSM would be in the grand finals.
It was a great effort from a losing team, but ultimately we'll see TSM hopefully next time. But ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Let's take a look at the bracket. We have our 2 final teams out of 16, and it's gonna be none other than Ninjas and Pyjamas and Space Station Gaming. We're not gonna be on the desk, but guys, what type of game are we looking at right now?
A huge opportunity. It's North America versus Latin America, and it's a final that I don't believe, have ever seen before at an event for a major or a Pro League finals or a Six Invitational. So this is a brand new opportunity right here. And the other thing is we know Space Station's good, right? We know that they're really good against TSM.
They're not good, they're great, okay? These teams are great, Dev.
And if this was a TSM rematch against Space Station, with Space Station in a one-map advantage, look, Space Station's already taken down TSM twice this tournament. I think it's safe to say that SSG would be starkly favored. But here we go with Ninjas in Pyjamas, the team that is going to counter SSG's passive playstyle. I can't wait to see these guys clash.
Are you saying we're gonna see a Latin American champion at the end of the day?
I think there's a possibility. I think that this crowd is gonna definitely favor one of these teams.
Well, it's safe to say, and it's the first time we can say it in a long time, there's no EU representative. NA, are we taking it home?
Here we go though, because we've got Latin America going up against NA, and look, EU's been eliminated, APAC's been eliminated. I know all my brethren back home are gonna be supporting Latin America to make sure that NA doesn't get this one.
Either way, it's a region with America in the name that's going home with it. But the big fear for me is this is a great team to counter SSG. As you said, if it had been TSM, it would have been one thing. That map advantage is going to really have to play in here. And I want to see Big Brain Canadian just explode that head of his in terms of counter-stratting, because that's what it's going to come down to. Because Latin America, they've shown they can mix it up like crazy against TSM. It's going to be SSG. Let's think every single round. Let's take our timeouts early. Let's figure out anything we're doing wrong and not misstep once, because that one map advantage can slip away very quickly.
You're right. So ladies and gentlemen, before we move on, we have the Year 5 panel coming up, and I'm letting you guys know now. I was able to take a look. You guys are not ready for what's about to come, but before we do that, we have a little commendation video from my man Leroy. We'll see you guys.